Ahoy, land lovers. It's me, your Captain Vasco speaking. Welcome to another Friday. This one happens to be Friday, July 25th, 2025, 7/25/25. If you're an American and write it that way. Otherwise, 25/7/25, in which case it's a 7 sandwich. Yeah, we're talking a little bit about lost media and stuff. I don't remember exactly how we got on this subject. Something talking about Demish was trying to get like screen caps of my brother-in-law, who's like a featured extra in Happy Gilmore 2, which released today on Netflix. Hooray! Interesting fact: today is also the official release day of No Sleep for Kaname Date. I still have not bought this because we've got other stuff going on. We got I mean, I think we got a few more weeks out of Old Skies. I was kind of hoping to have it done by like early August, but then like I got sick and stuff, and it sucked. So it'll probably take a little bit longer than that. I don't know. I gotta figure out like what to do for like Halloween this year. Halloween's usually like a big stream time here. Um, and like there's only like one specific game that I kind of have in mind that like I feel like multiple people agreed in a discussion maybe almost a year ago like would be good, and I tend to agree based on what I know about the game, which is Slay the Princess. I don't, however, know how long that is, like how many weeks I should expect that to take at some normalized expectation of stream length. Um, Yesterday was National Lemon Day. That's interesting. I feel like I heard about like a different National something day. Oh yeah, I saw a commercial that was like advertising National Chicken Finger Day, and like, have we gone too far? Does God stay in heaven in fear of what he himself has created, or whatever that insane thing Steve Buscemi says in like Spy Kids 3? So the princess is homoerotic at the end, FYI. I mean, I think I'll allow the spoiler by nature of caution, but it sounds like a relatively explicit spoiler. The question is, how explicit is the spoiler? By which I mean there's gay stuff in this game that we're playing right now. Like that like conceptually doesn't bother me. Is it like really graphic or something? I mean, it's pretty clear that we went to like fourth and a half base. The half is when you wake up the next morning and you apply like a sleeping potion to your paramour so that she doesn't accidentally go to work at 9/11, because that's just the kind of game Old Skies is. Don't talk about Slay the Princess at all to hide the like. I have some awareness of the plot, like a little bit. On one of those like, uh, I've mentioned I have a friend who like for their birthday, like I routinely just set aside the day and we kind of just like chat, and like mostly they show me whatever games they're interested in right then, and sometimes I show them a little bit of something too. They were the one who like introduced me to Control, which is a game I never finished, and was like thinking maybe that was like a Halloween thing also, but I don't know. It feels like it could be long. But like a year or two ago, when I think whatever year Slay the Princess came out, they showed me like a couple of like quote unquote like runs of it, and I have some awareness of like what it like. I mean, Control is like obviously a good game. It's just like it's really hard for me to like make time to play games when not streaming because I work full time and then I stream and then I edit and upload and like try to make interesting the content that I've streamed in such a way that someone might click on it and find it, which doesn't happen, but you know, I try. It's the point is you have to try. Isn't there a Control 2? There's I forget what it's called. Like they recently released like a spin-off thing where like you play, it's like a three-man team shooter, I think. I think Cotillion showed me a trailer for it. It actually looks pretty good, but like it's so hard. Like gaming time is hard. Gaming time where you're like coordinating with other people is like harder because then they also have to coordinate time. Is there actually like a literal Control 2? I don't think I was specifically aware of that. I'm not like hugely surprised by it. I just don't think I've heard that. personally felt done with it without the DLC. That's interesting. I gotta be honest, I tend not to be a big fan of DLC in general. I haven't like played a ton, I'll be honest about that. But like if you make the game good, I find that a game is rarely designed in such a way that the game itself is satisfying, but then also that I want to pay additional money for like less not full length game. And that's a little reductive for sure, I'll grant you. But like I mean it I mean let's use Raincoat as like as an example. Raincoat has like 4 installments of DLC, which is insane to me because that game is like fairly long, and like by the end, it's basically like Eldritch lore. Like you lose sanity by like playing it through to the end. Uh, so like by the time you get to the end of the game, like it hints at like what a sequel might be like, but then the DLC doesn't even like address that. The DLC is all like stuff that like explicitly like isn't important to this game's plot and doesn't go beyond this game's plot. So like why would I spend money on a game that like can't be coherent till the end to play something that is inconsequential? And then there's like other stuff like I have yet to personally play the DLC for any Pokemon game. I'll be honest that I think that's an affront to what the Pokemon core experience is. That's a personal belief, but like I find it distasteful that that exists. And I remember watching my sister play through the most recent DLC for, well, they may have released another installment, but like I think the first DLC for Scarlet and Violet. And oh man, it's not good. It's so not good that my sister like rage quit it. That's pretty hard. That doesn't happen every day. Like my sister's like big into Pokemon. I mean, as am I. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, what? Just out of curiosity, what is your favorite DLC? Like, I don't know that I even have played enough that I have an example of like one that I necessarily like. I'm probably forgetting at least one that is like genuinely worthwhile that I personally have played. But like I generally don't like the idea very much. First Pokemon property she put down. I mean, like it depends on how far down the well you dig. There may be some like ancillary spin-off thing she like tried and wasn't for her. Like the new like Pokemon Friends thing is a really fun idea that actually seems kind of garbage. They had a Pokemon Direct earlier this week. I think it's Monday or Tuesday. And like Direct, for those of you who aren't in the know, this is mainly for my mom's benefit. I don't know if she's familiar with this concept. But like a blank Direct, at least in the gaming world, I don't know if they have them anywhere else, but it's generally like some publisher or like video game entity showing off cool stuff, trying to get you excited to buy their cool stuff. And so there was specifically one for Pokemon as a concept this week, and everyone kind of didn't like it because they thought that none of the information was particularly new or interesting. And I can't say it was like crazy exciting, but it was like about what I expected. I'm not really sure what other people expected. But like there was one thing they were like, we have created like a new app game called Pokemon Friends. And the idea is that every day you play some small puzzles. And when you do good at puzzles, you get a resource with which you can make virtual plush toys and like organize a room with virtual Pokemon plush. And I'm like, I feel like I'm like the target audience for this. And I tried it, and there's just not like a lot there. It's very, very limited to the extent that it's very clear that it's supposed to be like free to play, but you like basically can't do anything if you don't spend like a minimum of like $10. And I'm like, I could do better with $10 for sure. Like that's fun and all, but like the puzzles are really rudimentary and also they're timed, and I hate that. And also like I get the impression that I now know all the game mechanics after playing for like 3 days, and it's just like So then, like, once I have all the fake plush that I can't like display or hold or whatever, and I put him in my virtual room to my satisfaction, then the game is like over. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Let's see. Witcher 3 DLC is worth the money. I'll be honest. I never have played any Witcher game, even though I remember like a long, long time ago watching someone from the Yogscast play Witcher 2, and even then thinking it was really interesting, even though I know that basically like Witcher 3 is the end all be all. Blood Dragon? Is Blood Dragon the name of the core game for something? I don't think I've ever heard of Blood Dragon. I'm not sure if you'd consider Death Stranding's director cut or DLC. I don't have nearly enough of a frame of reference for that. I did read an interesting thing online, like not long before going live, which was that like there's like some like creeping like global like people are trying to like uh gate like adult content on the internet by like having people submit like personal identification, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole like rights question. It's weird. But like apparently like there's something you can do with like a mobile phone and like the selfie mode in Death Stranding 2 that like gets around whatever Europe's most popular version of that is currently, which I have no idea what that is. I just read about this thing, but like fun fact, I guess. LRR did a whole story about that yesterday. I mean, it's the first time I'd heard of it. That's something else. That's not surprising to me. It's a weird fact. Oh, Far Cry 4. I know very little about Far Cry. The main thing I know about Far Cry is at least one of the Far Cry games has like a funny like gameplay strategy to it that I don't necessarily want to spoil. But like if you're familiar with the concept of the Metal Gear Solid boss, the end, it's kind of a similar idea. Kind of. OG Death Stranding had a soft re-release with a ton of extra content that could be bought at a discount if you own the base game. That's weird. That does sound like that like explicitly skirts the line between like DLC. Like I don't know how to categorize that. Um yeah. Anyway, I don't really remember how we got on this intensely far out tangent. Uh, I guess I can't really think of anything else that's important to address, and I feel like if I focus on the DLC conversation, I'll just get in my old man rant, and like I'm not. I feel like we're good for now. Someday, perhaps I will find a DLC that is enticing, but not 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 today. Uh, so Old Skies. We're gonna be playing Old Skies again. We are on, if I've done my math correctly, we're on our sixth mission. Let's see if we can recount those briefly, as we are at a point in the game where it feels like our past experience may start mattering more. We don't know this for sure, but some things have happened, and we'll go over that. Needless to say, while we're doing the recap, spoilers may be a thing. I can't imagine who cares, because I feel like if you're watching this, given the size and nature of my audience, you know this. Um, so our first mission was pretty straightforward. We were supposed to take a doctor back to the past. He said he wanted to like go to his favorite diner. Secretly, he was harboring some nonsensical plan to try and save his like lost love from a lab accident that happened in the past, but he did it in like a super like shady way that meant that we had to like shoot him with a future gun because he risked the fabric of space-time integrity or something. Then we took a famous boxer back in time to meet her idol when she was approaching retirement age for an athlete. She wasn't old per se, but for an athlete, they tend to retire young for the physical strain that takes. First one was 19. I think it was like, honestly, I think the first case might have been like roughly contemporary, because like it was his college days, but he was like old in the 2060, like I think it was like early 2000s, maybe like a little closer to now. The second one was set in like the 1920s, and she like went to this famous boxer woman wanted to like meet her idol, who like famously won like one crazy match as an upset, and then like kind of like vanished off the face of the earth. It long story short, like he ended up like getting into organized crime because it was like the family business, and he like didn't know that until he did, and it was too late. We ended up making him a mob boss instead of someone else who was a bad mob boss, and he was a slightly nicer mob boss. The third case we went to, oh no, that was like the 1890s or something. The second case, the third one was like the 1920s. It was like hard, like roaring 20s, like flappers and stuff. We were trying to locate the ancestor of just like a curator for the museum. She like basically like some adjustment that had been made from our time travel agency created the existence of Pi Sycamore, some like mysterious artist who only ever was identified by that pen name and no one knew who they were. And so this woman was like, we have to like find that artist so I can like verify this painting I found that I strongly believe is like an uncredited work of theirs. We happen to discover that like how did it come to pass that like we basically met her distant ancestors and had to like stop them from like getting themselves killed. It was a mess. It's like easily my least favorite case in the game by a huge margin. Really did not like that one. It ended up being important because like it established the artist character who ends up becoming our love interest. Spoiler. The fourth case, we were hired by like someone who had like founded a small company with like a single partner to help change the structure of that company. There was some like important foundational meeting where like they convinced investors to fund the company, and like we tried to change history, so like the dude of the duo instead of the woman was in charge, and then like that changed history. And then the other partner, when we went back to the present, the other one like hired us to fix it again. And it was like a real like madcap slapstick type of situation. It was pretty entertaining. The fifth case is what I like to call 910. We were investigating the murder of like a detective retired and decided to use their savings to like buy a time travel trip to go find out what happened to their friend who was murdered on September. I think technically they died on the morning of September 11th, but we went back to September 10th, so we had time to like investigate. And it turns out that like she had been a dirty cop at the time, and like I don't know, I think she wanted us to believe she got better, and it's meant to be a little ambiguous as to whether that happened. But like once we started mucking around in the past, like we made it a lot worse, and she was like definitely like a bad cop. And she like ultimately decided to like go rogue and was like, I don't care if you have to like future gun disintegrate me, I don't want to be bad cop. And so she like stopped the assassin that we like went back to investigate, and then we had to future gun her. And now the present, case number 6. Case number 6 is an interesting case because it starts, well, like most of these cases, with us knowing basically nothing. We do no research before going and messing with history. I feel like it says some negative things about Chronozen, the company that we work for. We were tasked by an ancestor of a famous author named Otis Knox, who had vanished under mysterious circumstances in the mid-90s. We were tasked to figure out what happened. Relatively simple question. And we had some information that was in our archives from the day that he disappeared, which was July 4th, like 1993 or 1994 or something like that. And so we went to the time and place that the archive said he was. And not only was he not there, but it wouldn't have been possible for him to be there because it was like a book signing at a store that was closed for the 4th of July holiday. So there was never a world in which that was going to happen. So we start trying to figure out why the archives are wrong. And long story short, we investigate a connection to that man, Otis Knox, and his wife, who remarries after his vanishing. And one of the common factors is this dude named like Adam something, Adam Cole, I think. And when we like look into his business, we find out that he has information from the future that he should not have because he is a man who lives in the 1990s. And as it turns out, upon further investigation, the actual Otis Knox was killed in like the 1970s. And a rogue time traveler who faked his death as like a member of our own organization impersonated him until his mysterious vanishment, and then took on a new identity, and then just pretended to be a new guy who remarried the same woman. Which is cool, I guess, but it's definitely not what we were expecting going into this case. And at the end of last stream, he sort of agreed, like he understood, he knows, he's a former time travel agent, he knows what happens when you get caught doing this sort of thing. We'll take him back to our present and he'll answer for it, except that he set a trap for us and found a way to poison us with a slow-acting poison that gives us something like 20 or 30 minutes from the start of a time loop created by our wrist gadget when something kills us. That like we have like 20 to 30 minutes to figure out how to both bring him to justice and not be dead. We can easily return to the present to not be dead, but then he'll get away and, well, he kind of sucks, it turns out. Or we could try and take him in, but then, you know, we'll die because he needs to maintain the timeline because Otis Knox is considered like a highly important figure, and changing his backstory in any way could cause like a cascading Sound of Thunder style failure, which we don't want. So we pretty much left off like very shortly after the revelation of ourselves being in this time loop, which is where we will now rejoin Old Skies. So yeah, like we just had a confrontation here on the beach at Coney Island, and the clock is ticking. Luckily this game doesn't have literal clock, but it does know how to use a time loop in a way that makes me upset, which is impressive because I like time loop. So this is Marla Knox. This is the woman who is actually married to Otis Knox, and then she married the guy who killed Otis Knox because it turns out that he was like an abusive D-bag, and she was like totally going to break up with her famous author husband in the 70s before the time traveler just like popped in and killed him and is like, "Why don't you love me?" And I assume at the time he was wearing Pater's Love Me shirt from Resonance of Fate. Do you really like time loop, or are you just looking at things and saying you like them? I love microphone. I don't know why you'd ask me that. So I don't... Let me call my future guy.
Don't have a lot of time here. Landing point, now.
Oh, okay. He's gonna play it like that. What? Is there like an alternative? Do I have to do that?
How long have I got, Nuzzo?
20 or 30 minutes, give or take. The landing point is 5 minutes away. You have time. I've got the antidote ready to go. I'll administer it as soon as you arrive. Fia, you're not exactly hurrying.
He's kind of getting... I have a problem with this.
So he's getting away.
That doesn't matter, Fia.
So the guy in question, in the present, he is known as Otis Knox, the famous author. He will come to be known as Adam Cole, or whatever the correct surname is. But we knew him as Duffy. I don't know if we knew his full name. We may have. I don't remember it. It's been weeks. He was an agent of Chrono's End, the time travel company that we work for. And he seemed a little more disillusioned than we did. Like, we both sort of commiserated about how much it sucks to kind of be divorced from time and everything always changing and all that. But then, like, he died under sudden and mysterious circumstances, and it was all a ploy. And then on top of that, he, like, doses us with poison and, like, I don't know, basically, like, laughs like the Joker. Like, dude is like a pretty hard-edged villain, in my opinion, at this point. Really like the way that this is set up, but like, one thing I was saying at the end of last week's stream is like, I really like the way this is written for Fia's character, because I feel like the whole arc of this game so far has been like, everyone and everything sort of disappointing Fia and like disillusioning her further from this already kind of detached from reality position that she occupies as a time traveler. And like, I'm just really interested to see where it goes from here, because like, my impression is that like all of this is building to like something really dramatic. And I've heard that the end of this game is really good. I know nothing beyond that in terms of specifics, but like, I was skeptical of that until we hit this point. And now I'm like, you know what? Maybe. A resounding maybe.
Of course it blasting matters.
You're dying. Focus on that.
Everyone's dying, Nazo.
I'm not dying, Noz. Not really.
The acid in your stomach is changing its molecular composition as we speak.
And it does the same thing when I have pancakes and soda for breakfast. I don't actually do that, but it sounds good.
Not yet, it hasn't.
It will if you don't move.
I'm currently moving. Okay, hypothetically, I go to future and then you cure me, and then can I come back and finish the
Can
job?
you send me back after you'd cured me?
It won't work.
Why not? Just send me back to the exact second I left from.
We've been through this before, remember? We can't risk another convergence.
I don't think I actually understand the argument here. Because she's saying, like, we maintain linear continuity, right? Like, say that we have 3 points on the timeline. Now is A, B is when we would hop through the portal to get cured, and C is hypothetically catching the bad guy after that. So we're saying that, like, we go to the portal at point B, we go to the future present, we get fixed up, and then, like, a second afterward, like, immediately after point B, we then return to here and, like, go apprehend the Joker. So, like, if there's just, like, a second of us not being here, there's really not a risk of convergence, right? Even with convergence, we've had, like, 4 or 5 versions of it. I think we only hit 4, maybe? I don't think we exceeded 4. But like, we managed it then, and it, honestly, the game made it feel trivially easy. If I had a complaint about that case, which I did like, it was simply that, like, they made it seem too easy to do something that seems like it should be preposterously difficult. But like, I genuinely don't understand what the risk here would be, because like, we're not trying to go to a different time. We're trying to go back like a second later. We wouldn't overlap with ourselves. There would be a gap, like...
So? I've managed once before.
Or like 4 times or whatever.
In a weakened state, it would kill you. For real. The rewinds
But
won't
really
be enough.
real. Not for play.
So no, I'm not doing it.
Well, in that case, I'm not coming back. How do you like them apples?
What'll happen next?
We've done all we can. The brass will assign someone to look for Duffy, but
They won't find him.
I ran a scan for him. 50 years worth of data from your current win. Every camera feed, every publicly available photo. Absolutely nothing.
Hey, Keen, you're just in time. We really haven't gotten that far into this. I don't know if you were with us at the end of the last stream, but basically, someone poisoned us so that we're slowly dying, and now we have to figure out how to both catch a time-traveling bad guy and not die. How are you doing?
He's gone.
I suppose that's it then.
Thank you for gifting a sub to Keen Demolition. It is important.
Heading to the landing point.
I'll activate your jump as soon as you're clear, and I'm sorry.
Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. There's estimated time of arrival at various locations. This is a resource we have not used before. Where would I, like, want to go? I guess the first place he went was the bookstore, right? And then to his house?
Come on, Fia. The landing point. This isn't the time to mess around. Come on.
That's curious. What's the point of giving me the time estimates if, like, it may simply be the case that the game wants me to do, like, something before I use this, but, like, why show it to me if I'm not engaging with it? There's an achievement buried in this I really dislike. That sounds great. I look forward to that. Doing okay. Sad that your contract ended today. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Keen. That sort of thing sucks. I guess then we'll call them poplars if the only thing I could do is go to the landing point.
Fia? The chronosuit? Come on!
There has to be another way.
I know you don't like leaving a job unfinished, but you'll be the one who's finished if you don't get back here.
Oh no, we don't stand a ghost of a chance.
I hate giving up. He can't get away with this.
I hate it too, Fia, but there's nothing we can do. He beat us. He knows our procedure too well. He even gave you a poison that could only be cured by what I've got here in the office.
I'd ask how he did it, but we do know that he has, like, an unsanctioned, like, time field generator in his basement that the game didn't want to let me touch. The timer actually went down. It did! I don't think it's real time. I think it's, like, advancing a certain amount of, like, dialogue boxes, or we may technically still be in a scripted bit where we're not, like, using the time resource yet.
Yes. How blasting magnanimous of him. There is absolutely no cure for Morphobite in 1993.
None. I'm reading about it now. The antidote takes years to make. You don't have that kind of time, even with time travel.
I mean, just to be clear, like, I would want to be clear about this. It's one thing to say that it's not developed for years, but, like, if we have the knowledge from the future, is it possible to, like, obtain it some other way?
Plus, you'd need access to quantonic particles, and in 1993, that's impossible.
No, he's got an unsanctioned generator in his basement, you doink.
Nozzo, I do have access to quantonic particles in 1993.
You doink?
You do?
The machine in the secret basement, remember?
Shh, secret basement.
Fia, that rusty heap of spare parts and circuit boards?
Yeah, I kept wanting to touch it, and you wouldn't let me.
The very same.
That's crazy!
What's the worst that could happen?
I mean, here's the thing, right? I feel like there's something disingenuous about the premise of what we're faced with so far. I mean, first, the objection I have about the chrono convergence thing, like, I just don't think that's a valid concern based on what we've set up here. But secondly, like, we are currently on a time loop. We haven't established, like, a true scarcity of time loop. Like, as long as you die, the PFE will revive you. It will suck and be painful, but it will keep doing it. So, like, why not try?
I'd give you a list, but we don't have the time.
But we do have the time because we have a time loop. That's literally how this works, you understand.
Even if that machine worked, the particles are only part of the cure. There are several other steps.
Do you want to catch Duffy or what?
Not at the cost of your life.
You have your finger over the rewind button.
Always.
Then you won't let that happen. Send me all the data you have on this cure. Quanmexilin, was it?
It's in the archive.
We're gonna do this, Nozzo. And I am going to die trying. As many times as it takes.
I don't like this, Fia, but I'm with you. If you want to come back, just say the word.
See, I like this as a starting point because I do feel like Fia has pretty consistently demonstrated her dedication to, like, doing the job even if it's, like, not smart or safe. Which, like, on some level, I like, appreciate and understand as someone who, like, values doing a job well. But, like, also just, like, I really feel like, I don't know, I feel, like, really in tune with, like, Fia emotionally in this particular case because, like, Duffy was, like, a close friend of hers, and, like, she really didn't want to take him in, but, like, he really kind of did, like, break some, like, cardinal laws of time travel in this world. And so she was, like, really, like, all right, like, fine, I guess we have to do this. And then he, like, poisoned her, and she's like, I'm gonna get that son of a gun. Like, that dude is toast. You hear me? I'm gonna track him to the end of the earth, and I'm gonna find a way to make him pay. And like, I'm like, yes, queen, slay, be as petty as me, lean into the anger, join the dark side. Okay, so let's go to... Oh, look at us run now. That's great. Okay, I need to go to the Cole residence. Have your feelings on this game changed over time? They have. I mean, that's generally the case with most games. It's been a little up and down, to be honest. Initially, I was frustrated because, like, to be honest, my understanding of this game is that it was, like, sort of a point-and-click game that was a time travel story. And I'm going to argue that it's not. It's a narrative game that pretends to be a point-and-click adventure game as a means of telling the narrative. That's still kind of in my wheelhouse, but it's disappointing because, like, I thought we would get, like, cool time travel puzzles, which I talk about a lot as time travel puzzles being, like, a really good type of puzzle. And this game just isn't really about that, and the adventure game mechanics are, like, sparsely and, in my opinion, frequently frustratingly implemented. The narrative, it's been that's maybe the thing that's been most in flux, is that, like, a lot of the characters, especially early on, are very frustrating, but, like, over time, I think the story does a good job of justifying why it chooses to tell a story with these characters. Because, I mean, again, we're not at the end, but my impression is that, like, we're building up to, like, I'm sick of this stuff, and I'm, like, I'm mad as heck, and I'm gonna do something about it, you know?
This thing must be able to help me. Somehow.
Dude, so suddenly this map with the label 20 minutes seems relevant. Yeah, that's a good point. At least now I can touch it. Yeah, I suppose I probably should have searched the archive before coming down here, huh?
Right. Blood sample, sodium nitrate, buformin, phytofusion. All
Easy
in less than
peasy.
30 minutes. Easy.
All in less than the same 30 minutes. That's not that big a deal, huh? But to sort of summarize, like, we aren't still at the end of this game. I would say that my feelings on this game are more positive than they were, like, 5 weeks ago. Which muchly accounts for a time that I wasn't playing because I was traveling and sick, but, like, you know, before really getting into this case, I was kind of lukewarm. Not, like, totally cold on it, but, like, seen both sides of it. Okay, synthesis is an application of quanmexlin for neutralizing morphobite poison. Quanmexlin is the only known antidote to morphobite, a poison that causes fatal solidification of stomach acid within 30 minutes. Why? Who made this? You okay? The synthesis of quanmexlin involves the following steps. Extract a blood sample infected with morphobite, expose it to quansonic particles for several minutes to induce necessary changes. 2. Mix equal parts sodium nitrate and buformin to create the base compound. 3. Inject the base compound into any type of young flora, such as a tree sapling or plant. That'll be the easy part. I know what that means. The mixture will alter chemically as the plant grows. This is a time travel puzzle. It's a fairly straightforward one, but this might... How many actual time travel puzzles have we had in this game? Very few. There was, like, arguably one at the end of case 4 with the CEOs where, like, both of the slighted CEOs tried to take Nazo hostage in the present, and we had to do some time travel shenanigans to sabotage them both from the past. 4. Allow the plant to mature for at least 1 decade. Again, easy peasy. That's gonna be the easy part. During this phytofusion period, the plant's biological process will modify the mixture. 5. Harvest the buds or leaves of the mature plant. When consumed, these plant parts will neutralize the morphobite poison effectively. Alright, so 3 through 5, that's easy. 1 and 2, not totally sure what I'm doing right now. This detailed process ensures the antidote's potency, providing a crucial countermeasure to morphobite's lethal effects. Which it says, for me, time travel, let alone multi-time travel timelines, is one of the hardest plots to write, and I commend their doing this, even if the landing is a little wobbly. that I like the way that's put. One thing I'll say, I don't know how relevant this is to my audience. If any of you have seen the TV show Dark, it is widely regarded as one of the best written time travel things. And I understand why people say that, but it kind of annoys me because, like, the only reason people say that is because they take, like, probably the easiest possible path to writing a time travel story and having it internally consistent. It's not bad, but, like, I'm not extremely impressed by it the way other people are. Okay, so I do need like a blood sample and like some chemicals or whatever. I like that it says light switch recently
I'd rather
used.
keep them.
Agreed. I'm glad we're on the same page. I thought I might be stepping on some toes there. 1986. Yeah, what is it? What's the other one by them? 1899, I think. I was just reading. I saw a mention of it somewhere on Reddit today where people were like, "Gone Before Its Time." That show was sick. I am disappointed that didn't get at least the second season. Like, that first season was crazy. And not even just, like, the ending, which is, like, deliberately crazy, but, like when I was watching through that, I was like, this manages to, like, instill a type of horror in me I didn't know existed in the world, and it's very upsetting. But, like, in a really well-done way.
It's a crude map of the Coney Island boardwalk. A spot has been marked with an X.
So yeah, I guess the implication, I don't know how relevant it will be to solving a puzzle as Catane sort of hinted at, but it may well be important. I think the main idea behind this is that he chose that spot for the fireworks show as a contingency for this, so that it would eat up a lot of the time to solve the problem and try and prevent this from happening. Timeless was a good... Yeah, I like Timeless too. Timeless it's a little uneven, but, like, I thought, even though it can be a little soapy, especially toward the end, I actually really liked the characters in Timeless and thought it was, like, plausible enough in terms of, like, time travel consistency. I like what that show was doing. What did they expect canceling 1899 like 3 weeks after release? I mean, isn't it a Netflix original? They just love to do that stuff. I don't know why they're like this. Okay, so I came here for basically no reason and now I'm punished. It's fine. I'll just die horribly and come back. I do kind of appreciate that, like, going down the ladder takes a minute. I want to be clear about something. I complain frequently about timed puzzles in particular, but time things in games. I really don't like them. And the reason for that is because the stress of doing something in real time evokes, like, really, like, negative, like, emotions in me. So, like, it's hard for me to have fun doing a timed thing because I'm just, like, the notion that, like, any time spent thinking about the thing, like, ruins it. Like, it's just antithetical to my being. All I want to do is, like, strategize and think and whatever. I like turn-based combat. I like menu game. Like, I like sitting here and talking to you while it says I have 14 minutes left, and in 5 minutes it's still going to say I have 14 minutes left. The fact that there is a time limit before I die is different from a time section because this is about resource management and not acting quickly. This does not make me upset. Watch it on games. Welcome to the stream. Hello. Hi. I would not say that this game sucks. We're actually just talking about this. I am really enjoying this case in particular. I don't happen to remember the name of this case. They all have clever names, and I don't commit them to memory. But I'm right here in it. This is easily my favorite part of the game so far. Pastorlet, got it. Thank you. Well, thank you for stopping by. It's great to have you here. Thank you for making. I'm a huge fan of Watch It Eye Games and love your work. Keep it up. Thank you so much. And yeah, now I'm gonna die horribly. I'm on my first loop of this, and I went immediately for the time travel particles, which was clearly the wrong thing to do. And we're just gonna investigate through trial and error now. So how do I think I'm gonna get a blood? Oh, I know how to get a blood sample. I have to go to Otis Knox's house. There's that fancy first aid kit, remember? Oh, totally understand. I honestly just appreciate the cameo. Thank you so much. You have a lovely time, and we'll keep enjoying this game.
There has to be something here I can use. Aha. An empty syringe, hygienically wrapped.
Sick. Now I have my own blood. You really don't want to do this. Hey, the game is correct. I don't. Ooh.
That was unpleasant, but I got it.
That's... You know what? That is a mood. I feel like that's the face I'd be making if I had to do that. Next Somnium 2 and have Dante's VA happen again. That'd be sick. I am looking forward to... I haven't bought it yet. I thought about pre-ordering it. Here's the thing. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely the thumbnail. So Somnium Files 2 Somnium Files No Sleep for Kaname Date on the Switch 2 is what they call like a key card cartridge, which is, and I'm gonna be a little rude here, it's kind of a dog water concept I don't love. They're like, it's like having a physical cartridge, but actually it's also still downloading the game, and the cartridge doesn't do anything other than require you to have it inserted in the game to play it. Which is almost the worst of all worlds. It's a bad concept that I really wish they weren't exploring. So I think I might end up buying it digitally. I think the other two I have are also digital, so, you know, what are you gonna do? Honestly, I think they did a physical release for Nirvana Initiative. I don't know if they did one for the original. I genuinely don't know. Okay, so I have my own blood. What's the name of the thing that I need to combine with the blood? It's like 2 chemicals. Sodium nitrate. That is like a gardening chemical, isn't it? I feel like you use it in like fertilizer or something. Buformin, I don't know, man. I don't know. Is that like a fancy name for like pepper flakes? Physical copy protection dongle. Similar but not quite the same, because like so like the concept is, as they pitch it, it's meant to be like a digital like, you know, you can exclusively digitally download stuff. You've been able to do it on consoles for a while now. So it's like that, but the key card key, or whatever the exact terminology for it is, it, like, the physical component means that you can resell it, and then someone else could use that keycard key to prompt the download on their own console and play as long as they had the thing inserted. So, like, in a way, it's a little like physical copy protection, because, like, it gives you access to, like, one download key that, like, multiple people could use, but, like, you have to have the physical key card, so, like, you can't sell the key card and then continue to play the digital download without it, is, I guess, the thing. It's complicated and a little dumb, and just make cartridges, please. Where? And also, at some point, clearly we have to make a phone call. Like, the game is very strongly foreshadowed. We have to make some kind of phone call from somewhere. It may be in the 90s or it may be in the 70s. I don't know, but we got to do it at some point. Let me talk to her about sodium nitrate, which I really think is like a fertilizer thing.
Yes?
Sounds complicated. It is. It's convoluted, and, like, I don't think it necessarily does much for me other than take up a small quantity of physical space, which is why I'm strongly considering just downloading the digital one. Basically a working version of what Microsoft promoted in their Xbox One conference. I'll be honest, I don't remember specifically what that is, but it sounds like it probably is. Yeah, tell me about sodium nitrate. I think you have it.
Do you know where I could get some sodium nitrate?
Why do you ask?
I really need some. It's really important.
It's super important, and talk fast.
You don't even know what it is, do you?
No, that's why I'm asking. Please tell me, and again, speak quickly.
Maybe?
Sorry. Can't help you.
You wouldn't happen to have any buformin?
What's that?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but I need some. What like an upsetting thing to hear someone say. That, like, sounds like you're addicted to something, like, you've never heard of. It sounds like the premise of one of those like unfortunate like docu-reality series where like people are just like, I married the Eiffel Tower, but like for like I'm addicted to a thing I made up. The thing that Sony with the PS4 lampooned successfully, and Nintendo pulled off with the Switch 2. You're saying basically like Sony opted not to do that? I mean, also like it is probably an improvement. I don't think I've ever seen this, but I've heard of this, that there are some games that will sell you a physical box as though like there's a CD or a game cart in it, and like actually it just contains a piece of paper that has a download code in it, and that's just crazy. I don't know why anyone would do that.
If you don't know what it is, then I can't help you.
I'll leave you alone now.
See you around.
How to transfer PS4 game. Oh, right. I do remember that. That was like their big conference at like E3 or something, because like Microsoft was like trying to come up with like a convoluted way to like get around physical media because they didn't want to like spend the money on it, etc. And then Sony was like, screw that noise, it's discs. I forgot about that. So like here's some, but not all of the Wajidai games are really interested in the research puzzle. I feel like the systems have gotten a little better over time, but like I still have some trauma from the Blackwell series and their like solve problems with phone book that feel like they could more easily be solved otherwise. Can you Google Quan Mexlin Sherman? You know what? Let's go ahead and try that. Unfortunately not, but I think that was a great suggestion. But like, so it feels like I should be able to research sodium nitrate and buformin or whatever, right? Like, like I have archives from like 80 years in the future. It feels like I should be able to get some base understanding of like generally what those substances are, common uses, where I might find them. Like, this is essential, useful information in a situation like this, and I'm not really sure why I wouldn't be able to like Google that, or even just like ask Nazo. Maybe I can ask Nazo.
Nazo,
Yeah.
making this cure is a lot more complex than I assumed.
I mean, I don't know why you would assume it was like less complicated than this. This honestly seems generous to me.
I told you it would be.
Shut up. That's not helpful
Are
energy.
you gonna help me or not?
Okay. I'm here. What do you need help with?
Sodium nitrate. That's basically salt, isn't it?
You're thinking of sodium chloride. Sodium nitrate is typically used as a preservative. Or
See,
as a
I know
fertilizer.
things. I know them with my mind. It's annoying. It feels like there's an artificial wall here where, like, this garden lady knows full well that I need some fertilizer, and she's just like, well, if you don't know that it's fertilizer, then I won't give it to you. I mean, in fairness, I am also the same person who was like, I'm going to ask some invasive questions about your celebrity neighbor and then break into his house. Please don't call the cops. So now that I'm saying all that out loud, yeah, I guess me asking for fertilizer, a known component in several like terrorist explosive devices, like maybe it's probably good for her to do that. Can't know a thing until you could prove to the game you could know that. I mean, for buformin, I might be able to buy that more easily because buformin is like, you know, I don't even know if that's a real chemical, to be honest with you. Hey, Demolition, real quick question for you. Is the achievement that you are preemptively mad about do this on a single loop for the first time? Is that what it is? If it's specifically that, okay, no, that's fine then. I'm going to leave it to your discretion to talk about it when and if it's relevant. I feel like it's something I'm probably not going to go back for necessarily. We'll see. So, like, you know, if you're like, this seems cool, like, do it, you know, like, I think I trust you on that. I feel like we're going to be good. Okay, how about that buformin?
Buformin. Do you know what that is?
Do it in fewer than one. Do it in -1 loop. Do it before you open the game.
Checking. It's an oral drug of the biguanide class.
What did you say to me?
Related to metformin and fenformin.
That's like defining a word with the word in it. That's not helpful at all.
It used to be taken as a diabetic medication.
Ooh, wasn't there something about the author was diabetic or something? Wasn't there something about that?
It used to be.
Oh, I think it was in his profile. I think it was in his Google.
It was discontinued in 1978.
Yeah, okay, that sounds right. Because like we wouldn't be able to get his medication now because he doesn't live now. He died in the 70s. So, the drug in the wastebasket at the hotel. Does that mean Duffy's one too? I mean, it could be something about the cover. Like, it'd be weird if you, like, stopped taking a life-saving medication, right? Like, someone might notice that. I was in the house in the 70s. Yeah, okay. Where's the nearest drugstore? Not relevant. Duffy, I'll ask about Duffy's PFE, because I'm gonna, like, die in 5 minutes.
Your monitors didn't detect Duffy's PFE?
No, they didn't. He must have removed it long ago. He has the know-how.
Can we bring him home without it?
He was wearing it for over a decade. There should be enough residual energy in the system to log onto, assuming you can catch him after the fireworks, and assuming he's, willing.
I'll worry about that when the time comes.
Where's the nearest drugstore? Maybe in 1985 you could just go to the corner drugstore and pick up some buformin and sodium nitrate. But here in 1994... No, wait a minute. That's further in the future. Never mind. Okay. Let's think about this. So, the places I need to go... I have to go to... I think the order of operations should be... Start the loop, and I should have slightly more time than I started with this time, because there was some, like, forced tutorial dialogue, kind of. So I think we, like, start the next loop, because obviously we're not doing it this time. We have to then come here and get the syringe, and ideally, if we can get the sodium nitrate from this lady, get that. Then go back to the landing point, go to the 70s, come back here specifically, get the drugs in the trash can, combine the two. What's the...
That's
hang
all.
on. Mix equal parts to create the base compound, and then we inject that into... Ooh, but I also have to expose the blood to the quansonic particles. So I have to do that probably before going back to the 70s. Like, I think that's too many minutes otherwise. Got some time travel movies. Where should I post them? We've got, like... Yeah, General's probably fine. We also have, like, a media room. Either one of those is probably good. Well, yeah, eat some leaves is step, like, 5 or whatever. So first we come here because we need the syringe. And then... okay, let me talk to her and see if when I know what sodium nitrate is, I can get it from her.
Yeah.
Do you know where I could get some sodium nitrate?
Why do you ask?
I hear it's a good fertilizer, and since you're a gardener...
Oh, a fellow green thumb.
I mean, I get it, but I still find it annoying. Can we agree that's, like, a little annoying? It's not, like, hugely annoying, but, like, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a fertilizer. I go talk to the plant lady, and she's like, I know what that is, but I'm suspicious of you, so I won't let you advance the game, even though you understand the assignment.
Sure, love plants, me.
Love plants, me. I love lamp.
Do you know where I can get some?
I buy my blend from a shop in Greenpoint. They always have the pure stuff.
But, like, do you know where I could get some that is, like, less than 5 minutes away from here so I don't die of stomach poisoning?
You want the address?
That's over an hour away. Do you happen to have any close at hand?
You're really eager, aren't you?
You know what? I'm what they call a night gardener.
I have no idea.
Well, I wish I could help, but I've only got one bag left, and it's mine.
Use future gun on neighbor?
Could you lend me some of your sodium nitrate, preferably within the next few minutes?
I mean, putting it like that, I feel like is not helping your cause.
Nobody needs to garden that fast.
Personal favorite time loopish movie is Resolution. I don't know if I know resolution.
Please, I only need a dash of it. It's a matter of life and death. My death, to be precise.
Also, like, a weird thing to say if you're not prepared to back that up.
Barely know you. The answer is no.
How would I get around that?
You wouldn't happen...
What's that?
Diabetes...
I wish I could help, but you need a doctor, not a retired gardener.
Well, you don't just grow diabetes medication here? What kind of hack are you?
Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like it's used gun on woman, right? Like, otherwise I die. Hang on.
Needs must, I suppose.
Oh my god.
Blast it. It won't fire.
I'm glad she's not looking up.
Foiled by timeline importance rankings yet again.
Is she? Wait, hang on. Her name is Evelyn Sherman, right? I think? Evelyn Sherman. Evelyn Sherman passed away in the village of Jibhe on March 3rd, 2022 at the age of 70. Evelyn's early life was defined by sports of all kinds, and by the age of 22, she'd become one of the era's most renowned stunt women? Her daring feats in films spanned the high-speed car chases of 1973's Steel Siren and the iconic rooftop jump of 1976's Valkyrie Justice. She was known for being a perfectionist, as well as fearless, often demanding and receiving reshoots of stunts she felt were anything less than her best. By the mid-1980s, injuries accumulated during her stunt career forced her to retire. Most knew her as a quiet soul, often tending to her beloved garden and staying away from the spotlight, but Evelyn's appetite for adventure never waned. She turned her attention to exploring uncharted jungles and forests, discovering rare plant and animal species. Her many discoveries include the glint frog, the ammerwing prowler, and the Peruvian fern strider. Those sound like magic cards. On an expedition to the Himalayas, she selflessly saved two of her fellow travelers from a dangerous fall, carrying them several dozen miles to safety. Tragically, she contracted pneumonia and died a week later. She finished her life as she lived it, fearless, demanding perfection, and living out passion for the unknown. She'll be greatly missed, but not soon forgotten. Weird that this does not list a timeline importance. I feel like it almost always does, even if they're like not, even if they're like extras, basically. What is my takeaway from this, though? That if I just, like, tell her I'm her fan, that then she'll give me what I need?
Hello again.
Yeah.
I'll leave.
See you.
How do I get around this? This is important. Ba 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 ba. Actually, I'm really interested. It would take me 7... hang on. How could that be possible? It has to take me like 4 minutes either way to get from like the landing point. How does it take one fewer minute to bridge here when the conceit of the game is that I walk there and come back here and it just doesn't show me doing all of that? Use pocket knife on one. Hey, I'm desperate. You know me now?
Perhaps there's a timeline where that works.
Okay, no, apparently not. Would you like some of my
I
blood?
don't see how...
Okay. She didn't want my blood. Can I pay her?
Perhaps another tactic is in order.
Honestly, it's a little crazy, I'll admit. But I feel like it's an entirely reasonable thing to just try paying her some money, right? Like that seems like that should work. Or at least have, like, a reasonable chance of working. I think clicking on, like, any of these just sort of, like, looks at the... Hey, here's
If there is a reason... Perhaps...
What? It's not at all obvious to me what I should do about it. Am I somehow supposed to, like... Because that's, like, the 70s, right? Like, am I supposed to, like, somehow interact with her back then so she recognizes me now? But, like, somehow doesn't question the fact that I haven't aged in, like, 20 years or whatever? Just push her over if your life is on the line. You can always reset. I mean, not how video game works, but, like, I like where your head's at.
I can't rummage through.
Oh, was that there in the past? Hang on, I'm gonna spend 7 minutes I don't have to travel in time and see what happens.
Have to hurry.
It's
God,
not
here
there.
it comes.
It's not there yet. It's a problem. How do I deal with that? I have died. Someone overlaid the Dark Souls you died.
God.
Oh, it worked.
Oh good, we get to hear his villain speech every time. That's exciting.
I recognize that look anywhere. How many?
You need to stop this, Duffy.
It's already done. Run back home to Kronos.
It's already
and
been
Fia.
brought
You have
in.
just enough time. It's too bad I'll be long gone by the time you get back.
God, I'm gonna make you regret it so bad. I mean, I know it's not gonna let me shoot it, but I gotta, like, we know I'm gonna try.
We both know that won't work on me. Not yet.
Villain speech bonus.
Can't fault you for trying. Marla, I'll see you
I
soon.
appreciate that we have, like, a cool fold-out future gun. It is really inefficient for if you just need to shoot a future bad guy.
You'd
Bye, Fia. And I'm sorry.
I'll believe that. I'm gonna shoot you later. I'm gonna shoot you so good.
I really... forget it.
Okay. So... let's walk the walk. So just leaving this place costs none minutes. Okay, that's a good start. So I gotta go to his house. Let me do what I can and see if in the process I learn anything new. Shoot her instead, she sucks. Technically I should be allowed to do that, but I think that is frowned upon and probably not what we're doing here.
I'll just take one of these.
Does it have something to do with the phone, I wonder? There being such a loose end is a sticking point for me. It's a little bit on my mind, too. I feel like maybe we haven't fully closed that loop yet.
I can't rummage through her things when she's standing right there.
How could I convince her to go, though? Or convince her that she should trust me?
Hello again.
Yeah?
I'll leave you.
See you around.
Okay. Let's go timey-wimey our blood. If you can call the old woman and steal some stuff. Ah, you know. That could work. Get her present phone number, call her inside, rummage around through her stuff. That would require doing stuff outside the scope of the current loop. You'd have to do, like, an information gathering loop. But I think that would work. Assuming she can, like, hear the phone. I was thinking the other way of, like, call her in the past and, like, try and befriend her, but, like, that seems insane for various reasons. That makes more sense. It's just, like, I know that there's, like, phone stuff in the 70s, and that's why it, like, seemed more logical for some reason. So now I go to Cole's house. You do waste a lot of time going down here. It's like 2 extra minutes going on the ladder. Okay.
Well, that was unpleasant, but I got it. Right, that's done.
Now it's glowy.
Look at that. My blood is swimming with consonic time stream particles. Wait, does that mean I'm chronolocked?
No, just the syringe, and whatever is inside it.
I was kind of wondering that
So
myself.
this syringe is immune to changes in the time stream.
That's right.
does that mean for me now?
Which means it won't pop out of existence when I loop again.
Oh, so I can get a second syringe?
That's also right.
Okay, that explains that part of the problem.
Well, that'll save some time at least. Anyway, one step down, 4 to go.
And the fact that I don't have to spend 4 minutes, like 6 minutes or whatever, coming back here, that's actually pretty big.
I'll be here.
That's sneaky, sis. Okay. So now, I think the best thing to do is to go to the boardwalk. I think I have to do it
Have to
in the
hurry.
past. So that I can read a
Who
book
should I look at?
and look up Evelyn
Aha,
Sherman.
She does have a telephone number listed.
Hopefully she hasn't
I'll
changed
make a
it.
note of it.
Okay. Now, I obviously don't have enough time to do anything of relevance. I can, like, get exactly here and then
Oh God,
die.
Here it comes.
Keep dying in that same spot. You think I'd learn my lesson?
Ugh, blast it, Duffy.
Oh, it worked. I'd recognize that look anywhere. How many times has it been?
No, I don't know what you mean.
No idea what you're
I
talking
feel
about.
really good right now. Better than I've ever been.
Somehow I don't believe you.
No, I'm really good. You're sweating. I'm not sweating. You're crying. I'm not crying.
Run back home to Krona's End, Fia. You have just enough time. It's too bad I'll be long gone by the time you get back.
The more times I hear this speech, the more dead you'll be. For every sprinkle I find, I shall kill you.
I'll figure this out, Duffy. One way or another.
Well, good luck with that. I've had 15 years to plan this.
And I'm in a time loop, you doink.
Marla, I'll see you soon.
You'd better.
Bye, Fia.
I hope you're happy.
This line and this delivery makes me hate her. Like, I think I'm supposed to, but, like, I feel like there's a world where, like, I feel sympathetic for her despite his obvious villainy. But, like, she is so sold on this. She's like, you're the bad guy. Like, I'm glad you're slowly dying of future poison. It's like, I'll shoot you too, lady. I got future gun.
Really? Forget it.
Okay, so I still need to go to here. Doink, Vasco language. Listen, I think it's warranted under the circumstances.
I have one already.
No, I specifically need another syringe. That's like the whole point of the puzzle. You also doink? That's actually really frustrating. In fairness, I do think it's a touch of a reach to assume that this will work, but it's fair.
There's a small plastic bag labeled sodium nitrate. I'll just nick that.
Just labeled like, not like a brand name? Sure, that's fine. Okay. I mean, I guess I just time travel, right? And then I inject it in the plant and then I come back? I think that's fine.
Have to hurry. Psilocybin wouldn't happen to contain buformin, would it?
It's the primary ingredient. Are there any pills left in the bottle?
Blast it. No.
Oh, that's a problem. Far enough, it's safe to say the achievement. Go on. Did he have pills on his person? I feel like there isn't time for that. Hang on, though.
I'll just add these sodium nitrate crystals to my quansonic treated blood.
Okay, I don't like that works because I feel like that's not how syringe do. I don't think you could just like keep infinitely like plunging new stuff into it, because like eventually you'd have to like push out to be able to pull in the new stuff. So like this is why my understanding was like, oh okay, I time lock this syringe so I can get a second syringe and fill the ingredients in that and whatever. Like this is really unintuitive to me, and I've only tried this because the game inexplicably said I won't take another syringe, but I feel like mechanically that's not how syringe works. You die 6 times in front of each person at each location. Wow, that's rough. That's rough, buddy. Okay, so I need a new angle for this pill thing. I feel like the only realistic shot I have is to find his body at the hotel. I don't remember it being there, but like how on earth else would that work?
That man is as high.
You don't have any buformin, do you, good buddy? I mean, this feels like the only place this could be. Search spotting.
He was carrying a small bottle of diabetes pills with him. I don't need much. I'll just take one.
Also, like, I mean, I guess we're saying it's the type of capsule I could probably like crack open. It's full of powder, but like, I don't think I'm like syringing that in there. You know what I mean?
I'll just crack open this pill capsule and add it to my blood.
Okay, so we're actually like really close to being able to do this because I tried really hard to do this efficiently. Should we do the achievement? I feel like... Yeah? You don't think it's worth it? Even though you brought it up? That's interesting and fair. There's no reason to say that we should. So who are the 6 people in question? Otis, his wife, the neighbor, the brother-in-law, wait, who would 2 other people be? Like the people in the lobby? Are there other like actual like people around? Nazo on the phone? That sucks, brother. Doesn't that still leave 1 though? Isn't that 5? 2 and 2 and 1? The dead body? The lobby is one of them? Okay. So hang on. If I feel like the implication is... I probably don't have time though, right? No, I could. So if I went back to Nox's house... That sounds dumb. Don't do it. All right, I'm game for don't do it for specifically reason it's dumb, because I think I agree with that. I respect the idea of trying to reward a weird outside case. That is like a lot of effort for that. Like I don't know. I feel like other adventure games might reward you with like interesting dialogue from each of those occurrences as the reward, like making it an achievement that requires those hoops is a little much for my personal taste. So I get the impression that if I inject the tree here now before I die, then like I'm actually good on the next loop, but let's find out together.
There we go, little sapling. Let nature do its thing.
I mean, just out of interest and because we're here.
Yeah, Fia.
I know that you passed time by having a conversation with him.
Where's the nearest drugstore?
Let's see. The closest drugstore that sells it is 40 minutes from your location. Driving distance.
Blast it. Not enough time.
I'm sorry.
Options, Nozzo. Please give me some.
I'd suggest checking to see if the phytofusion process worked.
I never knew Duffy was that good of an actor.
How do you mean?
He fooled everyone. His neighbors, his family. How come nobody saw it?
He must have used holographic feature alteration, lowered the strength slowly over time until Otis's face became his own.
Was that technology available in 1977?
No, surely he brought it with him, you doink.
No, but Duffy had the know-how to build a crude one. He's lucky nobody caught him doing it.
If I keep asking him any thoughts, does that pass time? Currently we're at 2
Options.
minutes.
Option.
Oh, it does.
Oh god. Hold that thought,
Options.
boss.
Give them to
Be
me.
with you in just a tick.
Blasted Fia. Activating ERP.
I needed to do one reset because I physically didn't have time to check the tree.
Oh, it worked.
Do you think you can make a computer, Vasco, or even a light bulb? I think the fact that my like power supply unit lives external to the casing of the computer I modified myself indicates no. Probably not going to be able to build that one from scratch if I had to be honest with you. But like, yeah, I mean, you know, like, I guess here's the thing, right? Like, I don't now because I don't need that knowledge. If I had a plan that was like, I'm going to travel back to before computers existed, but like use the components that exist to make the first personal computer, I'd like research it, right? Like, everybody's one agent, let alone one from the same company as Fia, could do this. I mean, there's two parts to that argument, and I think one is not very compelling. I think the other is extremely compelling. Like, I think technology is advanced enough by that point that, like, he could just, like, time travel like an iPad with all the notes that he needs, right? Like, this isn't like Terminator logic where you have to be, like, naked and organic to be transported through time. Like, we bring, like, our future gun everywhere we go. So, like, being able to bring, like, portable electronics, I think genuinely is enough of a conceit for me to be like, yeah, probably. Like, I'm more annoyed at the notion that he, like, figured out how to, like, gradually tune the holographic projector in such, like, that feels like that would be annoying to do and, like, probably stupid. But, like, yeah, it's like more about sourcing the materials, but, like, assuming that, like, we're not talking about, like, a mineral that came from, like, another planet or some bizarre thing, like, I think is plausible.
I'd recognize that look anywhere. How many times has it been?
Are you enjoying this?
I'm not. Believe me. I wish it didn't have to come to this. Run back home to Krona's End, Fia. You have just enough time. It's too bad I'll be long gone by the time you get back.
We're friends, Duffy. How could you do this?
Of course we're friends, Fia. That's never going to change.
It's never going to change. You tried to poison me, you psychopath. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, my friend. It has changed. He's got on wife in front of husband. If it let me do that, I might try it. It sounds pretty grim, but like...
But this is my family. Nobody's going to take that away from me.
I mean, is it...
Not you, not Nazo, and not anyone at Krona's End.
Not even Tanya? The super capable receptionist we don't talk about because she lives off screen?
Nobody. Marla.
Just kidding, we established we don't have one of those, right? Then we have a whole discussion about how, like, we probably should have, at bare minimum, like, a receptionist or, like, a front desk security officer or something that we clearly don't have.
You'd better.
Bye, Fia.
I hope you're happy. I really... forget it.
Down on the boardwalk, let me eat a whole tree. Weird that she's still inside, but okay.
Here goes everything.
I hate salad.
Well,
Blasting hell, that felt good. Now to catch up with Duffy. We don't have much time.
We actually have most of the time the way that played out. Where are we going? Ah.
Fia? How are you even standing? Your stomach lining must feel like razor blades by now.
Nah. Good, fam. call an ambulance, but not for me.
I feel fine, Duffy. In fact,
Oh no, an incredibly slowly loading gun.
Well, you've always been resourceful.
You taught me well.
Yeah, I guess I did.
Nozzo, how long till the fireworks are finished?
Any second now. After that,
Nozzo?
Don't bother. I've desynced you.
Stop making up stuff. Stop changing the rules.
Desynced.
Small invention of mine. I made it back in 2062. Still works 15 years later. It desyncs you from the monitoring station at Kronozen. When I turn it off, Nozzo won't even notice time has passed. So, we can talk freely.
Hey, buddy. I know the game that you want to play with me right now is that, like, we'll make an arrangement because we're friends, and, like, now that he's not watching, like, we can get away with something, but I need to let you in on a secret that you messed up, buddy. We talked about this. You crossed the line. We are not friends.
Resync me, Duffy. Now.
Come on. Don't tell me you never wanted to explore the past without him watching you. Doesn't it feel nice? Just a little? Don't answer. I know how bad you are at lying.
Did you use that desync device in the field? It can't be legal.
It's not. And I didn't use it often. Maybe a few times just to try it out. Then I met Marla and, well, things got out of hand.
Well, at least I appreciate the effort to sort of explain how that happened.
Got out of hand? You killed a man, Duffy.
He was going to kill Marla. Nathan, too.
We both know that isn't true. If Otis's history changed that drastically, we would know.
Fine. You got me. She wouldn't have been killed.
Idiot.
She would have been beaten within an inch of her life and never fully recovered.
See, that's... Oh.
And Nathan, born with severe brain damage, grew up despising his father.
I mean, I feel like even that should have caused a red flag.
It was Nathan who killed him, you know. The original Otis. Buried him at sea on the 4th of July. Then killed himself a few months later.
Oh, sick. Mission accomplished. We figured out what happened.
Tell me, Fia, should I have just stood by and let all of that happen?
These arguments are all so sketchy. Like, anytime that, like, people start talking about, like, the ethics of, like, time travel in regards to, like, the integrity of history, it's like... I mean, it's like the 9/11 thing where you're like... I mean, like, yeah, you could try to, like, change things about... Like, you could try to stop that event from happening, but then it, like, drastically changes history. And then, like, maybe, like, important things that happened as a result of that don't happen. And, like, what if that ends up leading to more deaths or whatever? Like, you just don't know. I can see an argument for this if chrono shifting wasn't literally our job. I mean, I think it does make an already kind of sketchy argument pretty much worse when it's like, it's the whole job description. It's like literally the thing we do for a living is like try and keep the past locked into a set of parameters. It can change, but only in ways that like verifiably don't change the things that are deemed to be important. And you can get into a whole separate argument about like who makes those decisions and are they ethical. But like if we wanted to have that argument, we still probably shouldn't be doing this job.
We've let worse things happen, Duffy.
Like, can you even imagine the type of can of worms you'd have to open up to try and stop, like, every early human like, to basically rewrite history so, like, murder doesn't happen? Like, where would you even draw the line, you know? Like...
This was different. I saw an opportunity to make things better and I took it.
This goes against everything you taught me.
You mean focus on the job? I found something more important than the job. And so have you, haven't you? Yeah, you have. I know the look. You know how I feel, whether you admit it or not.
What makes you the exception, then? Why do you get to have everything you want? when the rest of us...
That's just it. I found something I wanted, more than anything, so I took the risk. Wouldn't you, Fia? I think you would. I really think you would.
You know nothing about how I feel.
Jon Snow.
I know what it's like to live like you. To avoid caring about anything because it might disappear. Look at Nazo. He lost his whole family. Now his life revolves around Chronozen. He knows that if he cared about anything else, he could lose it. Is that the future you want for yourself?
Fireworks have stopped.
Yeah.
So tell me, how is this going to go?
Fia, a long time ago I asked you a question.
Paper or plastic?
I asked why there were so few of us who could do this job. Do you remember what you said?
I don't remember what I said. This was actually asked during the game. Is there an achievement for this? I bet there is. Had this idea for a while. Someone who tried and succeeded to stop the Kennedy assassination sees a better life. Then, thanks to time travel looping, continues to improve life until it gets so good it gets impossible to stop and loops himself into insanity. I feel like that would be a very real concern, being in a time loop. But, like, the thing about a time loop, other than the fact that as far as we know it's entirely, like, theoretical narrative fiction, is, like, even if it was the thing that was happening to you, you wouldn't know if it was, like, stable or unstable, in the sense that, like, you know, I think it's Happy Death Day is, like, the most prominent one that, like, sort of features, like, you sort of gradually decay your life force. Like, you can't do it forever. Like, even though, like, you reset, like, it still kind of slowly kills you. And, like, there's other ones that are similar, but, like, you just wouldn't know. So, like, to bank on that is very dangerous. Like, it's not like you're gonna get a rule book if you get stuck in a time loop, right? Like...
That it didn't matter. I was just glad to be chosen.
Yeah, I probably made some offhand joke, didn't I? I've thought about it a lot over the years, and I've realized something. Life is about change. The world is about change. Change is a necessary part of life. Staying aloof and above it all while the world alters and shifts around you. Nobody should live like that. Nobody can live like that. No wonder Chronozen finds so few candidates. I'm amazed they can find anyone at all. They told us we could see all the paths not taken, like it was so magical, so blasting special. But they left out one important thing.
That we don't take any path?
All those paths, none of them include us. So I escaped all that.
It says, yeah, look, even you were hired. I mean, come on, how desperate do you have to be?
I've walked a path of my own. It was full of highs, full of lows.
It would be funny if he
in between.
It would be funny if he said that and then her response was like, well, go on then. Go back to your cluster mate. Just like, you really can't stop, huh? You really can't help yourself.
But above all, it was full. Can you say the same? I'm not going back, Fia. So kill me. Or let me go. I'm ready either way. Well, what's it gonna be?
That's interesting.
Nozzo, how long till the fireworks are finished?
Any second now. After that, do whatever you need to do. Fia?
It's done.
Already?
I said it's done. Can I come home now?
Is your chronosuit engaged?
Yes, confirmed. Home, please.
Sure, Fia. Stand by. And time fall in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Are you okay?
Never better.
I'm sorry you had to do that, Fia.
I'm curious if that will remain ambiguous or if they're concealing that because they want to reveal like a canonical choice later.
Yeah. Well, can't fight protocol.
Do you want to go grab a drink? Talk about it. Or go to the park gallery even.
I think I'd rather call it a night.
Right. Of course. This was a lot.
It does this job for years, ruins her knees in the mid-30s. I feel like we should have invented like the Chell like gravity fall dampening like knee bracers. Like the fact that you do like literally fall on your knees. Like every time I see that, I'm basically thinking the same thing. I'm just like, God. Like I feel like with all this technology we have, like we probably should have that.
I'm gonna petition the brass to give us some time off. I don't care how backlogged we are.
Sure. Whatever you feel is best.
Yeah. What a mess.
The next day, relative time. Gang, I'm Nazo now. Does he say different stuff? Doesn't seem like it.
ID acknowledged. Welcome, Frank Nazarelli.
Huh? That's weird.
I know, I miss the cat every time. That's like way more than weird.
2029 NYU.
Oh no.
Fia, you didn't. Fia, come in.
That's
Please
it's gotta be the day of the lab explosion, right?
That explosion needs to happen. You know this. Stopping it could blast it. I'm setting an auto jump to come after you. If you can hear me, just stay where you are. I won't tell the brass. I'll erase the logs. Just be okay.
February 15th, 2029, East Village. 6:31 p.m.
Ow. Been years since I did that. Fia, are you there?
Why is he just like wearing his normal clothes?
I just hope you haven't done anything crazy.
I kind of wanted him to have like a super cool outfit. Cause like, it seems like he like programs that or something, like Jeremy from Code Lyoko. So like, you know, she just gets like whatever, like, you know, they're kind of just meant to blend in. And then he just like looks like Neo from the Matrix or something. It's like, oh man, that's cool. The log has been sheared off with a microlay. Hey, so 2029 isn't that like at least like multiple years after the last time we used this landing point in case 1? Like this construction site isn't like any further along? That seems ridiculous. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I thought the explosion was like years in the future from that point.
Fia, come in. Blast it. It can't end like this. Come on. Don't freak out. Think.
He like for sure shouldn't be wearing his like future glasses and headset.
If you're here to stop that explosion.
So this was the opening of the game, I believe.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Fia? Are you alright? What's going on?
Smoke inhalation.
Where are you?
Alley off Waverley. Can't miss it. Meet you there.
Fia, what did you do?
Probably just like rescued the woman and didn't stop the explosion.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I knows. Again. We've had this conversation before.
She dies of smoke inhalation?
Maybe 45.
Rewind. That means...
I'm dying, Nos. Yeah.
How?
How do you think? Wasn't quick enough, but I saved her. Some of the paintings, too. Not all of them, but... it's enough.
Construction site must be a government contract. That's perhaps accurate, Cotillion. My dad was working at a government project in LA before we moved, and I think it's like more or less being abandoned because like they just like blew the deadline so hard. I don't know all the specifics, but like it sounds like it's basically not happening the way it was planned for like a really long time. Okay, an ambulance. There appears to be one coming right up right
I'll get an
now.
ambulance. There are already several on their way. I'll just flag one of them down.
Tried that. Doesn't work. Sorry, Nos.
Why did you do this, Fia?
Because Duffy was too good a teacher.
Duffy?
I wanted to do one thing. Just one thing. For myself. No, not for myself. For someone else.
Was she worth losing your life over?
I didn't plan on dying when coming here. It just kind of happened.
Come on, Fia. Let's get you out of here.
I won't make it, Nos. We tried so many times.
Like 44 or 45. If you were listening. Actually, I don't remember if I said that this loop.
I don't get it, Fia. Why is she so important? You barely know her.
I wanted to know her. To give us both the chance. She deserves that. We deserve that.
I don't know what to do here, Fia.
Turn off my PFE.
No, I mean...
But the rewinds...
We'll stop. I know. But it's okay. I checked the archive. Imani lives. Knowing that, it's okay. It's all okay.
But how do you know it won't change again, you fool? Also, like, again, we're sort of at this critical juncture of, like, what it means for, like, time loops to exist, right? Like, if we go back in time 30 minutes, doesn't that mean we can just do a better job of getting her out of there? Like, why must we give up the ghost? Yeah, I'm gonna go back 30 minutes. Tell me what to tell you to avoid this. That's funny.
You can't know for sure if Imani will live.
Don't tell me you are doubting the archive.
That's not how
No,
time travel works.
But another chrono shift can take her away again.
I know.
It's already
This could
happened.
all be for nothing. Isn't that amazing?
What?
Think of all the people we met, all through history, all following their dreams, following their hearts. None of them knew if it would work out. None of them knew the future, but it didn't stop them from trying anyway. What makes us so special?
My options are you'll die or basically kill her.
If the rewinds stop, you die.
I'll die anyway.
So we'll try again.
We've tried everything. Please, Nozzo.
We'll find another way. There's always another way.
We've tried them all. Nothing works. Trust me.
I don't think that's a very reasonable argument. I mean, like, it hurts a little bit not to know at what point this, like, 30-minute loop starts, right? But, like... I mean, I guess her problem is that, like, now that she's come here, it's, like, even more difficult to try and make a second attempt at this. But, like, this doesn't seem like a very successful attempt. I feel like it's worth trying something else.
I'll go back and stop you.
You do, and I'll never forgive you.
I can live with that.
I'll come back and try again the first chance I get. You know I will.
You'll start getting so sick that you won't be able to do it. From, like, interacting with your past self, the chrono convergence.
I won't do this. You can't ask me to do this.
You're the only one who can do this. Please.
We'll find another way. There's always another way.
We've tried them all.
It's weird that
Nothing
automatically
works.
triggered
Trust me.
dialogue that I've already used.
I can't, Fia. I can't watch you die.
Then don't watch.
Fia.
Please.
Hey gang, I've lost the illusion of choice. I think we're gonna have to call them poplars on this one. I don't feel like that's a very What will you choose? What a great question, Katane. What are your thoughts on what you think I should choose? Demolition says, if you had no intention of dying and knowing logs exist, what was her endgame if she succeeded? At some point, loop him in on the plan and do this. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll grant you that, like, I buy... This is... I'll admit that to me this is like a slightly less exciting version of what I was expecting, but like I was anticipating that like we were building toward her doing something rash that was sort of against the rules. So like categorically this is kind of the thing that I thought was going to happen, but I don't love that it like kind of happens off screen, and then at least ostensibly from where I'm sitting now it seems like the game just like tells you it failed and that she must die. Like, even if the game wanted her to die, I feel like fully exploring this part of the story is, like, important to, like, coming to terms with the fact that, like, that's the resolution to the story, at least for me. You like 1? Okay, I'll go with 1. I'm a little skeptical, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
I'd love it if he was just like, beep boop, it's off now.
Thank you, Nozzo. It's been incredible.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth,
I mean, what was he supposed to do now? You what? That seemed important. Look, she's an angel now. Do you understand?
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
It's called Time Traveling Lesbian Angel.
What are you feeling right now?
Oh,
Hunger.
Nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
These paintings have a colorful history. We still don't know the name of the brave woman who sacrificed her life to rescue them. Her reasons will always remain a mystery. All we can do now is appreciate what she saved and try to imagine what she saw. Do you really feel nothing?
Was she happy?
Sorry?
Fia, was she happy?
So you know.
That she faked her death? Yeah, Fia always was a terrible liar.
Isn't that the truth? It was her biggest regret, lying to you. If she realized that you knew all along, well, no point in dwelling.
So, was she happy?
Yes, we both were, as much as anyone can be.
Thanks. That's all I wanted to know.
She passed 5 years ago.
I know.
I miss her. I miss her every day.
Did she leave a letter with Western Union or something?
I could understand why. To risk everything she had, everything she was, on someone she barely knew?
I wondered the same thing. To the day she died, she never had a proper answer. She had her own reasons. Whatever they were, I'm grateful for them. I hope that one day you'll find some of your own.
Yeah, maybe one day.
I'm here most of the time. If you ever want to talk about her or anything at all.
And then these two get married and it's super weird.
I'll keep that in mind, Miss Nash.
Please, call me in.
It's weird that you like pick her name.
Correct?
Yeah, Actually, it's Frank. Call me Frank.
Frank it is. And poof, we now know each other.
Hey, it's the thing she did on 9/10.
Same to you, Em.
I mean, this poor guy has lost everything. This ending is rough because, like, I feel for Fia, but I feel so much worse for him now. Like, that sucks, dude. Like, he lived in this, like, isolated corner of the time-space continuum with basically, like, two people who, like, he could talk to. One of them faked his death and then betrayed everything that they held sacred. And then the other one, in trying to resolve that matter, also decided to go rogue, basically vanish into the wind, and then like die of old age, leaving him alone to run the entire like time travel agency. Like I really relate to the journey that Fia is on, but like I can't help but feel like Nazo is the victim here, and like not be like totally thrilled for her. Also, I really feel like that is a rush transition. Like I really felt like we needed, like, unless I miscounted, I remember reading at some point that there were 7 stories in this game. And I'm pretty sure that there's 6, and I guess what we're calling the epilogue, and if I can be honest with you, that's not an entire mission or story. There isn't even like a single puzzle in there. You don't really have much agency over basically anything that happens. Oh, that's really spooky. There's no picture for the woman who voiced the boxer. I mean, that's her choice, presumably, but that's spooky. That looks ominous. So I'm torn because like I feel like, I guess here's my issue on like an emotional level, is like I feel like we did all the cool and important build up to have like a really strong final story where we see her go rogue and make that choice, and we just kind of skip over it. Like it's not that we didn't get like the ending at like it's largely the ending I expected from where we were at, but like I feel like we missed some important emotional context of going through the motions. It's like the same reason why you watch a 2-hour movie instead of just reading a description of the important plot points. Like seeing the things happen, following the journey is important, I think. Hey, Letters, welcome. You are just in time for the credits. We just finished Old Skies, which is largely a pretty cool time travel adventure game. You might like this one. I have some reservations about it, but I also tend to be a little bit more critical of games than I think other people are. And I still say that largely I like this game. My main hang-up with it is that, like, mechanically I was expecting it to be sort of a more puzzly game, and it's not. The puzzles are like a pretty light element. It really is more about the story. And the story is pretty good overall. I was just sort of complaining that, like, I feel the ending is a little rushed. Pie Sycamore and her rival, Ice Cream Maple. Ice Cream Maple definitely sounds like something from Bo Fury. I didn't want to take damage, so I put all my stat points in defense, or whatever the full version of that extremely good anime is. Like, literally, the main character's name is Maple. She, like, chooses it as a pseudonym when she goes into the MMORPG world that basically the entire show takes place in. Like, once the MMORPG is sort of established, I don't think any scenes take place out of there. Or maybe, like, some really limited ones to give context for why, like, characters aren't doing stuff in the world or something. That show is great. You should watch it. I really, 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 really like it. It's like the most wholesome thing on earth. Oh, hey, look. I mean, is it too soon to make a spoilers-esque reference to the end of Infinity War? It just feels very familiar, I guess, if you've seen Infinity War, if you catch my drift. I mean, like, I'm invested in the idea of these two getting together. I just wanted some more, like, I was really interested to see the case where she would finally make that choice, and I'm kind of disappointed that we just sort of yada-yada'd over that, you know? I, like, really for sure thought that, like, we were gonna get that, and maybe that's why I'm so disappointed. Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's, like, pretty cold, but, like, also kind of the whole point, isn't it? I mean, what happens if I say continue? Nothing actually all that interesting.
Oh no.
That's so odd.
Again.
Is there now is there really like no, I'm never going to have control of the game again to exit out of this? That's an interesting choice. One graffiti kind of looks like Bert. It kind of does. New game plus. No, it's just the last chapter. It just sort of checkpointed, and like I thought maybe it was gonna like post credits scene me or like give some more context, but like it's kind of just replaying like the thing. Now the awkward part about the way we decided to do this is if you do click one time to like experience this, you can't back out of it without like hard closing the game. It was so good to see it again. I mean, I guess I respect it because you won't necessarily know the end of the game is coming to do a save file to watch it again. Just had like the code thing from the AI game. That was one of the few good things about Nirvana Initiative. The end, like the very end of Nirvana Initiative, kind of like did some work. I was expecting at least 2 more weeks of this game. I mean, I guess next Friday we could just start No Sleep for Kaname Date, huh? Does it matter what emotion you choose? Why can't I choose hunger?
Nothing.
Nah, it's always the same. But in your estimation, Devolution, what would the code do in the context of this game? Yeah, that's right, you played at least a little bit of... I think I remember watching you try the first Somnium Files game. Did you ever end up finishing that, Letters? Never finished the sequel? That's understandable. I don't know how far you got in the sequel. I have some real qualms with the second one, but there's like a spin-off. It's not a proper third installment. For some reason, they keep making it very clear it's a spin-off, and I'm not entirely sure why. But there's a new one just came out today. Finished the first one. The first one, like, I was kind of hard on the first one when I first played through it. I think the main issue I have with it is I like the story of it, and I feel like if you tweaked some of the telling of it, it would be like an extremely good story. And as it is, it's like a good idea that disappoints a little, but it's got some good stuff going on. Code could let us play through, but different, get a new ending. Came out today. That's correct. Today.
I know. Yeah.
It really is weird that like the game is not designed in such a way that you have any control to get back to the main menu without playing through the entire end of the game. I think including watching the whole gosh darn credits, huh? That's a bold choice, if I may. Like, obviously that doesn't break the game, but like, wow, that's a decision that was made. Oh, I double clicked and I broke the window. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna close it. I mean, it's just gonna be the credits again, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and guess that Demolition messaged me earlier being like, are you ready for the stream to end early? I was like, listen, I read there's 7 cases and we've done 6, and I'm guessing that we're counting the epilogue as a 7th, which I wouldn't. So I was just like, I'm fine. I don't need to worry about that. Devotion says, okay, looking at the reviews, it looks like Happy Gilmore 2 is one of Sandler's best movies. Honestly, I have so little content. Like, I've seen a handful of Adam Sandler's movies. I don't know that I've actually seen the ones that I think people generally consider as best. Like, I know my brother really liked Punch Drunk Love, and I think that one's pretty well regarded because it's like kind of a dramatic one. And what's that other one? Is it Righteous Gemstones, or is that the HBO show with a kind of similar name that I always confuse with it? I think he's in that, or one of those, and that's supposed to be good. Then again, it's day one. I mean, it's tricky, right? Like, Adam Sandler's kind of an acquired taste. I think it's kind of inarguable that, like, even by, like, Adam Sandler fan standards, he's made a lot of movies that are not great movies. Uncut Gems. I can't, like, the two gems, they're the same thing to me. They're interchangeable. But yeah, Uncut Gems, that was like a few years ago, I think, and that's supposed to be really good. Haven't seen that either. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I've covered most of my thoughts on the game. I'm surprisingly rattled by that ending. Not by the content of the ending, but by the nature of the fact that it ended. And I don't feel like we were there yet. Like I feel like it was just really important that that was not quite when the story ended. Hi Neko, welcome to the stream. You've just missed the credits for Old Skies. It simultaneously ended pretty much the way I expected, but also not. I feel like I have to sit with this and like reconcile the disparity between what I expected and what we ended up with there. And again, it's not even, like I have complained about many a game, including, for example, we played through, God, was it like last Halloween that we did the Blackwell series? How has that almost been a year? That's really upsetting to me. Like, I had a good number of issues with those games mechanically. I kind of like the story that it built up to, but like it had like a similar type of pacing issue where like it built to this like hugely scaled like final conflict, and like it was a cool idea that I could see like our protagonists dealing with, but we didn't really, in my opinion, like reasonably ramp up to it. So we went from like 0 to like 180, and then like it just like ended pretty quick after that. And I kind of feel like a similar thing happened here, not quite as dramatically. I do feel like the character arc through the various cases sort of, like I've talked about this for a couple weeks now, that like it felt like the subtext of all of that was that like life isn't fair, and that like Fia has had to keep doing the right thing, and like everyone else gets to benefit from just like lying and cheating the system, and like she just wants like one little bit of justice, something for herself. And like it felt like she was going to do something dramatic that was almost certainly going to be like against the rules, and like we got that, but it was just like, I don't know. Like, I guess for me, the issue is that, like, I feel like I want more lead time from being confronted with the very concept of, like, Duffy breaking the rules and, like, getting everything that he wanted in a rocket can, and her changing what had been, like, her whole life's philosophy to come around to doing the same thing for herself. Like, I feel like there should be, like, a buffer there where she, like, thinks about it and she resists the idea, but then she just like can't stop thinking about it, and then we end up making the call. And in the context of the way this story is told, I'm not completely sure the way you do that, but I feel like narratively, like that gap is important. Like that gap makes it feel authentic and not just like we wanted the game to end. Like I genuinely feel like there's a bit missing there. And that's the thing that's so strange about it is like almost the entire story structure is just there. It's like elementary to just add that last bit. I mean, like, it's not quite as easy as just do it, but like, we've done what I think is the hard part. It's like selling the character arc, and I really can't believe it's not there. It makes me look crazy. Had a good start, saggy middle, great build up, tepid ending. I think that's pretty fair. Like, they kind of info dump you in the beginning, or at least if you're like willing to read through your instruction manual to like get a sense of like the backstory of the time travel world. So like, it presents kind of a cool world, and then like the early cases are a little rough around the edges, especially with some of the characters. Like I really don't like the third case. I really don't. Like everyone's annoying in it all the time, always, like start to finish. Character motivations don't make sense. The solutions to the puzzles are like more maddening than at any other point in the game. Like that whole case is absolutely my least favorite. I want some small rewrites or additions to really polish to a mirror shine. There's something about me that, like, when I see the potential in something, I get more upset than if it just sucks. And it's kind of similar to how I feel about, like, I mean, for one, the first Somnium Files game. Like, I felt very strongly about it when I finished it. And then, like, I ended up replaying it before the second one came out. And, like, I felt much more positively about it because, like, I was being more, like, knowing the overarching story, even having forgotten some of the minutia of it, like, I could better appreciate, like, the big picture going through the game. And while I still feel like there's sort of, like, a failure to, like, frame that mystery case in a way that really sells how cool the idea of that game is, like, I still, like, appreciated it more. But, like, I still am upset about it because, like, if you tweak that story, I think it's like an easy, like, 10 out of 10 concept. Yeah, it pains you more than just a bad movie or game. Yeah. So, like, it's one of the reasons I feel so passionately about the first Somnium Files game is, like, if you tighten that story up, I really think that would be, like, an absolutely killer story. And, like, the fact that it's just so, like, sloppy in the middle, and then I feel like it really undersells the ending. Because the ending is cool, but I just don't think the middle of the game, like, sets up to the point where you're like, oh my god, like, that's what the whole thing was about? That's crazy. And, you know, like, I do recommend trying it, even though, like, I can't guarantee that, like, it will necessarily hit you the right way. See Thor: Love and Thunder. You know, I never got around to watch. I really wanted to and, like, didn't see it in theaters, but, like, I know that it is not well liked, even though, like, it had some promise. So I easily can imagine that being in the same camp. But yeah, like, it's tough. I mean, I feel like this one's really going to stick with me for the same reason of, like, we were so close. I mean, honestly, I like, you know, we just started a new season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I feel so strongly about all of the new Star Trek. And, like, basically every week I'm like, there's a cool idea here, and if you would pay me money, I could do it better. And I'm, like, way rusty on, like, my writing. Like, I have not been actively writing for a while, and I promise you, I could take these just fine sci-fi ideas, change, honestly, like, not a ton, and, like, make them a ton better. Like, they just constantly make these choices that I'm like, you were so close. Like, what were you doing? I mean, the new one that released yesterday, I mean, I don't want to get into the spoiler territory, but, like, I just can't help but think that the sci-fi crux of that episode would be handled so much differently if it was actually a Star Trek story. Like, we would try to, like, understand the problem and do something to solve it, and not just be like, let's see if we can get away with not doing Star Trek stuff. It's not a 10-page rant, but a punch-up talk. It depends on the episode and the series. I still haven't watched anything past season 1 of Star Trek Discovery, because that stuff's bad for my blood pressure. I really dislike the fact that they chose to go prequel. Generally, not a big fan of prequel. As, like, sometimes you get away with it. Like, Better Call Saul works really well, but, like, kind of by the nature of, like, it's a prequel for a side character, and it doesn't fall into a lot of the same traps a normal prequel does. But, like, the fact that, like, you know, they were like, okay, we're finally gonna make a new Star Trek after, like, you know, 15 plus years or whatever. And we're gonna make it, like, a prequel to, like, most existing Star Trek canon. And we're not gonna pay any kind of attention to Star Trek canon and, like, introduce, like, a whole bunch of stuff that absolutely shouldn't exist in this world. And we're gonna divert stylistically and thematically from Star Trek as far as we think we can get away from it. Like, oh my god, like, you want me to not watch this, right? Like, that's your whole plan, right? The whole idea is that you don't want people to watch it, right? It's like some kind of insurance scam. It's like the producers, like, come on. Still better than Section 20. I mean, Section 23 was an ill-advised concept from the beginning. I could not be bothered to watch it. I knew what it was going to be, and it was going to be more of exactly what I just described. And I just don't need to sit and watch that in its most crystallized form. Like, Section 23 is already like a speculative subject within the Star Trek fandom. This idea of basically like Star Trek CIA, when the Star Trek is supposed to, when Starfleet in Star Trek is supposed to be this like agency like above ethical reproach, that like we have all these like high standards and everyone believes in duty and ethics and doing the right thing. And even though human nature sometimes prevails and there are sometimes villains embedded in Starfleet at various levels, at the end of the day, those people are villains and they are removed because that's what Starfleet is about. And all of the new Star Trek is about like humans are bad and everything is bad and everything is corrupt and everything is war and fighting. And it's just not what Star Trek is at all. And it makes me so mad all the time. Every time they bring up like the Klingon War and talk about it like I understand that war would still be traumatic in the Star Trek world, and they've touched on that in a way that felt thematically appropriate, especially in Deep Space Nine. But just like having like half the characters in Strange New Worlds be like brooding about like war, it feels wrong. It's not what the show is about. Like, I don't know, man. Just finished reading Sunrise on the Reaping today, a Hunger Games prequel. Fan service was there, but minimal. The movie will probably be good. Oh, is that one of the... I have not been keeping good track. Like, I didn't read the Hunger Games books, and I've seen most, but not all of the movies. But, like, I know they did one about, like, the president who's in place for, like, much of the main Hunger Games trilogy. And I think that one was kind of well regarded. I don't really know a lot about how that story went, though. So I don't know how I feel about that in regards to my like general feelings about prequels. They wrapped Section 23 in a perversion with literal mere critique to praise against what the series stand for. They're clearly a Trump era writing, not what could be better. That's what made Star Trek great in comparison to its 70s origin. Not now, but what could be. Yes! Yeah. I mean, like, that's certainly one way of putting it that I think is entirely fair. But, like, also, like, specifically, like, all of the Star Trek pre-New Trek, excepting, like, the next-gen movies, they're kind of a weird anomaly. But even them, for the most part, like, they're all really heavily rooted in, like, Gene Roddenberry's fondness for humanism, which, like, believes that like the human spirit will overcome, and like there's some like weird facets to there that lead to like inexplicably sexy Star Trek stuff, which is like fine, like it genuinely doesn't bother me. But like, you know, even when they like when they like explored sexuality in a healthy way in like some of the older Trek stuff, like it wasn't like gratuitous. It was more about like the connection between two living people, whether they're human or different life forms, you know? So like, it doesn't bother me that there's like adult stuff in it to some limited extent. But like, what's more important is that like, you know, like, they like to do all this like gritty stuff, you know, like seasons like 1 and 2 in Picard were like really heavy on gritty stuff. I feel like Discovery probably was even beyond what I've seen. Yeah, people are having trouble imagining an optimistic future. That I fully understand. But like the thing about Star Trek is like, to me, it is the single most premier, like optimistic view of the future. If your writers that you've hired to write a sci-fi show, like can't think of an optimistic way to look at a science fiction future, then they should just be making a different thing. To me, it's just insulting to call it Star Trek. And this is the thing I've, like, this is old man shakes fist at clouds for sure. But, like, this is the thing I've come to terms with about myself is, like, it sounds stupid. It sounds really, like, consumerist and reductive. But, like, to me, it really matters if you put a certain, like, intellectual property's name on a thing. It changes the meaning of it. For me, like a really core example of this is Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I know that movie is polarizing. My stance is that I absolutely hate that movie. It feels like it avoids being Star Wars for the sake of being different from Star Wars, which would be cool if it wasn't Star Wars. But it's a Star Wars movie, so it should be Star Wars in my opinion. And I honestly don't even think of myself as a particularly big Star Wars fan. I do like Star Wars. I think of myself as a Star Wars fan. I know people who are definitely like bigger nerds for Star Wars, like parentheses complimentary. I just mean like it's more their thing. They know more about that. Like I'm more of a Star Trek guy. I'm like a pretty big Star Trek nerd, not the biggest, but like that's more my speed. But even so, I have a fondness for Star Wars. But the fact that like, and even like when Rian Johnson like talks about his thought process like going into Last Jedi, he constantly seems to talk about like he just wanted it to be different. He just wanted to be contrary. He just wanted to do something you didn't expect. But that's not good storytelling. Just doing something different isn't good. And like doing a bunch of stuff different that like breaks from the established world of like a thing that you're writing for is, in my opinion, generally bad. It's pretty hard to like reconcile the fact that you're trying not to be the thing that you are while still like making it. But so like for my money, like that just diverts like way too much. But at the same time, if you had just made a brand new movie called like Really Dumb Slow Speed Space Chase, like honestly, I might have enjoyed that movie. Like I would still have problems with it. Just the whole narrative conceit of like most of one of the major plot threads of the movie doesn't matter at all and only happen through like an intentional misunderstanding of people who are on the same side. Like that stuff's really annoying to me and I would still dislike it. But like as just like a new sci-fi thing, I'd be like, yeah, this is kind of interesting. But like when you call it Star Wars and then you like make sure it isn't Star Wars, I find that really annoying. And like that's kind of how I feel about most of the new Star Trek is like if you wanted to make like grim dark sci-fi future where like nothing looks like Starfleet and nothing behaves like Starfleet and we talk about war all the time and everything is dark in a literal and figurative way, you can make that show. You can make a new show. You are owned by a big media company with a lot of money. You can make a new show. Just make a new one. Make that one and I won't watch it because I don't like it. I would like to watch Star Trek. If you're gonna call it Star Trek, it should be like optimistic. It should have a core belief that at the end of the day, humans can better themselves, and if they remain committed to it, they will better themselves. And not that they're perfect now in this relatively idealistic future. That's kind of the beauty of it too. Is it's still a learning process for them even then. They're way more enlightened than we are because they're like post-scarcity and they've met other cultures to a scale that like you kind of just have to advance as a society when like that stuff exists. But like, you know, it goes to great pains to show that these people aren't perfect. They make human mistakes. They're still human beings. You still relate to them. And so like you can still have that kind of drama, but like it's really important that it be optimistic. The best thing to come out of the post-disco new era is Moopsie. Do I know what Moopsie is? Which branch of thing is Moopsie from? Oh, I'm not caught up on Lower Decks. I know I need to watch it. My brother tried to sell me really hard on Lower Decks, and then like we watched like the first like 2 episodes together, and I thought it was like fine, and I hear really good things about it, but like I don't know if it's just like pilot syndrome, but like the first episodes weren't like I gotta watch all of these without stopping. It was like, yeah, I should get around to this. I have, of course, seen they did a weird crossover with the Lower Decks like voice actors in one of the Strange New Worlds episodes from the last season. Still not entirely sure how I feel about that. Not like awful, but like I'm not sure I love it either. Mission said that Last Jedi is, in his opinion, also the literal worst Star Wars movie. I am of that camp as well. And it's their fault for not having a plan, which is, I think that's inarguable. The fact that there wasn't a plan for a trilogy that they knew that they were funding for like a thing that they knew they were going to have tons of people invested in is insane to me. It's honestly insane to me how often it seems like that kind of thing happens, where they're like, we know we're going to invest a genuinely stupid amount of money in this, like life-changing money for like everyone involved, but like we're not really going to put that much thought into it. Because lazy is easier. I don't think it's because lazy is easier. I think it's because the people who make the decisions about the money aren't the same people who understand that like you get a better yield from a quality product. I think there's just too big a divorce there on a corporate level, in this level of post-capitalism that we have achieved. Like, yeah, their feeling is money will be made either way, but like they don't understand that, like, I mean, here's the thing I want those people who make the money decisions in media to understand is like, yes, hypothetically, money will be made either way. Like, you put the name Star Wars on the thing, a bunch of people will go see it in theaters. But like, do you make new enduring fans by just putting your brand name on just any old thing? And I maintain that, like, importantly, no, you definitely don't. This is a similar thing to what I feel like has been happening with the Disney parks for like at least a decade, is that like the quality of the experience you get has been on like a pretty harsh decline. Not like a really steep drop off, but like gradually over like 10, maybe 15 years, I feel like what you get from that experience is like notably worse than what it had been. In addition to that, of course, cost of living and cost of everything has been on the rise. So the base experience is more expensive than it's ever been. And now, relatively recently, they've added systems to where, like, in order to get even, like, kind of a mediocre experience compared to what it used to be, there's literally a surcharge where, like, there used to be kind of a primitive virtual queue system in place that was actually really ingeniously designed and very effective back in, like, the 90s. And they discontinued it after like an ill-advised venture into trying to incorporate it into like some bleeding edge technology, and they just kind of like decided that like they couldn't handle the public embarrassment of admitting that that was such a bad idea, so they just kind of like left the old system defunct until they came up with a worse system where they're like, now you can like kind of pay into a virtual queue at different levels, and the more you pay, the better experience you have. Which, like, on the one hand, capitalism, I understand. But on the other hand, here's the thing. So, like, my sister is a very intelligent, successful, and capable person who also streams here on Twitch most Sundays. I think this Sunday is the one where she's seeing Hugh Jackman. I don't think she's streaming this week, but I might be wrong about the timing. It's very difficult to keep up with her busy life. So she is like probably the single most enfranchised like Disney theme park enjoyer that I personally know. You could probably like exceed her at that point, but like you have to basically, it has to be like your whole personality and your job for that to be true. So like, you know, I benefit from like, she is enfranchised in the system and she comes to visit here and I get to do things well beyond what I would be able to do otherwise. But like the reason that she is the way she is that growing up, my family my mother would save up like year round so that she could fund a family vacation for us to come here to Florida to experience Disney World as a family nearly every year in my childhood. And like we had a great time doing that at sort of like the peak time for a family to have a Disney experience. I genuinely feel that's true. I don't think that's nostalgic. Knowing what I know about like the history of Disney theme parks, I'm fairly certain that that was the best time to be doing it. So, you know, we had a great time and lots of great memories. And now as an adult with like disposable income, she pays them so much money so she can continue enjoying that experience. But the people who are families now and have that experience are having a much different, much worse experience. And so I posit that in like 15, 20 years, there's going to be a real reckoning for the theme parks for trying to like do this now. Like, assuming that we haven't destroyed the planet or whatever, and we're around to have these petty problems. But like, genuinely, I think it's going to be a huge problem. Like, they are not going to have like an installed fan base of people who are willing to like pay the kinds of prices that they're going to need to expect at that point to keep the line going up, for that business to keep functioning as it is. Like, there's going to be a real crisis point. So she says, for me personally, Andor is literally the best Star Wars property. I honestly feel like I know that I get a well-deserved bad rap for being an Andor hater. I kind of feel like Andor is the type of thing we were discussing earlier, where like, as much as it frustrates me, I honestly think it's closer to like the punch-up talk than it is the rewrite. There's a lot of good in there. I happen to primarily dislike the main character of Cassian Andor. And I feel like if they rewrote him and were more conscious of like an actual character arc for him, and then subsequently other characters reacting to him and the changes he goes through, then most of the other stuff that exists in the series would still be solid. Would need to change very little and get a much, in my opinion, much better result. Should have been named Star Wars Heroes. Honestly, I still don't think that alone addresses it, but I think that would help. The problem is that I still think that the show is, even if you rename it, the show is still focused on him, and I don't think he is a valid central character for the story they're telling. Like, the character himself still needs to change, or they'd have to, like, replace him with something different. Like, it doesn't quite work. But, like, it's also frustrating because, like, so many of the other characters, even if they don't get that much screen time, seem so much more important to the story. So, like, I just genuinely don't understand why he's, like, the guy. But, like, that's kind of my whole thing. Like, I don't understand why he's the guy. He's, like, he doesn't bring very much to the table. Yeah, those are all things I have very strong feelings about. Everything we touched on there, which is why I'm able to rant on that off the cuff without any prep. These are things I think about often. Every week a new Star Trek comes out and I get a little mad. Sometimes I enjoy it. I thought that the opener for this most recent season was very solid. Like, I had relatively few issues with it. They were pretty minor for the most part. I really like almost anything that has Rhys Darby in it. I absolutely love that man. Like, just keep putting him in stuff. He's like my favorite. Like, everything he's ever been in is like great. Side note, anyone here who hasn't seen Flight of the Conchords, it's like at this point, like, kind of an older HBO show, but like he's like kind of a major character in that, and like that's a great watch. It's about the band named Flight of the Conchords. They're from I think all of them are from New Zealand, right? Like, it's two guys and the manager, but I think all three of them are from New Zealand. It's been long enough. I may be misremembering that. Like, there's a lot of like cultural stuff with them being like not native to America, but they've all moved to America and are trying to make it in the entertainment industry. And like Rhys Darby plays like their manager, and he's like just a hot mess. And like the two band members are like kind of like soft, like mild-mannered and soft-spoken, so they kind of don't call him on being the worst a lot of the time. Europeans will probably just go to Disneyland Paris instead of coming to America. They probably should do that. I mean, as great as Disneyland and Disney World are, I mean, there have been like so many horrifying stories. Not even to just like get political and comment on like the larger state of things, but just like specific stories about just like people trying to come to America and just like random nightmare stuff happening. Like, no one needs to be a part of that. That's not a good risk. The next Star Trek show will be the one dude from that movie, The Time Traveler. Oh yeah, what's his name? Gary 5? They were trying to make like a spin-off of him. Yeah, they were like they definitely poke fun at I don't remember what Red Letter Media thing it was now, but like something I've watched, they were like, why don't you just make it about Gary 5? Never been to Disneyland. I'm sorry, Neko. I mean, for various reasons, it does sound like Disneyland Paris would probably be a better fit than going back over here. Seems very expensive. Red Letter Media for their issues is one of the best YouTube channels. I do like them. I don't know. I might not be involved enough in some of their deeper cut stuff to make that evaluation. In terms of media criticism, that may well be true. Like, it's definitely not of the like nostalgia critic, angry video game nerd branch that people have become very critical of in recent years. Which, like, that was like criticism to be entertaining rather than criticism of like in an actual like literal traditional sense of like trying to like understand what is good and bad and valuable and like a worthwhile lesson from media in general. That's not to say that there isn't value to those other things, but like I think that's the reason why in recent years it does feel like people become very critical of some of those early pioneers to like what it meant to be an online critic on like YouTube and similar platforms like around the time that YouTube was formed. 100% step up from Nando Stuckman, etc. I wish they cut back on their tropes and had more diverse viewers, even if their own critiques are very good in terms of media literacy. That's probably fair. Yeah, I think that's valid. So this talkie bit has gone on long enough. I'm not entirely sure I start a new game. Anyone else have questions, comments, concerns? Reminds me of the fact that I had my like first adult professional performance review this week. It has instilled in me a little bit of an unexpected like emotional crisis. It's caught me off guard. Not in that it went poorly, because it didn't. That like, without going into it, they were basically like, "You're great, we love you, high marks. You even like gave yourself a hard time for this. We disagree." But like also, you know, in their own way, they sort of made it clear that like, and as much as that is definitely true, like there are no raises involved in this process. So that's where we're at. Your reviews are literally copy paste. I mean, in fairness, I have been at this company for like 6 years, and this is the first time that they have done like a formal performance review. So it is like new to my management, and it was a real skim job, skim with an M. So like, you know, that could change over time or whatever. Like they could just be like, "Yep, this is now an email. It is no longer like a conference, like a video conference call." One thing that was very gratifying is that like there were a couple point like, you know, it started with like a self-evaluation where like they sort of gave like a series of criteria of like, how do you feel like you are in this like aspect of the job, and like it just gives you like a little text field. And so like I gave like a little like 2 to 3 sentence description of like how I felt, you know, my performance was relative to what they were asking. And like in one place they were like, yeah, like we think like you've like actually like really crystallized like what is like most important about this job. Like we actually think that this is like the way we would choose to write the job description moving forward or something like that. Also at one point my like department head said like, this like what you wrote here was so good, like I almost thought it was AI, which in a way is kind of insulting, but I think was meant to be a compliment and took it as such. It's just the fact that I used like really professional language because it seemed like a really professional thing to do. And like, you know, despite the fact that I'm a bit lapsed, I am kind of a writer, and also I kind of know how to do that sort of thing. So like, it just seemed like the thing to do. Got one coming up on 9 years in October. Is that right? Wow. That's many years. How long until you get a gold pocket watch? Just kidding. It's 2025. No one, there aren't prizes or nothing. Late stage capitalism. Only suffering in expensive Disney theme parks. 11. Here's hoping, or maybe hopefully you never need a gold pocket watch. Finally, this year's gonna be a new thing after 5 years of thing. I've given up and do all my work on the 16th and do nothing for the rest of the month. Hey, it's good work if you can get it, right? Kind of. I don't know. I was having a conversation with someone not that long ago, and they like said something kind of like that. I was like, "That's like kind of nice, though, right?" And they were like, "Absolutely not. I hate it." I'm like, I'm sorry that happened." Supposed to get 1,500 a year for making it 7 years, and they ended on your 6th year. Oh yeah, I've been in that kind of situation before. Not specifically at this job, I don't think that kind of thing has happened here necessarily. But like I've been in plenty of situations where I'm like, yeah, like I'm almost at like that threshold, and they're like, we've decided that we suck and we're not doing it anymore. One time I went to, I'll be mad about this until I die. It's so inconsequential, but let me tell you about a thing that made me really upset one time that keeps me up at night. One time when I lived in California, it was like relatively early in my time in California when like there were shockingly few like local game stores in like Southern California, like huge nerd mecca, just like very few places in like the greater Los Angeles area to go for like a good like gaming store experience. So like one of my friends found just like did a deep dive and found this listing of like, look, there's like a place where you can go on like Sundays, I think, like Sunday mornings, and like go play like a Magic the Gathering tournament in the format that we were all playing at the time, because like Commander wasn't really a thing yet. That's how long ago it was. And so like I was like testing out this like experimental deck that like wasn't very good, but like had a good idea to it, and like I never got to make it work, but like had a sound theory. And so I was like trying that out there to see if it was any good, and obviously it wasn't. So like I was doing pretty bad in the tournament. I think it was like 3 or 4 rounds. It wasn't very long. It was a pretty small crowd there. And so I lost like all the rounds until the last one, and I struggled really hard and like barely managed to win that round. And like I wasn't too upset about that because like I kind of knew that my deck wasn't that great. And I was like trying to see if I could like figure out what was up with it, but like, it was like information, whatever. So I play that deck and I like win the last round. I'm like, haha, at least I won 1 round. And then the store owner declares like at the end of the tournament that like, well, of course the losingest person gets like a prize pack for like being the worst. And I'm like, but like I had to work really hard to not be the losingest person. Like if I knew that there was like a sad sack prize, I wouldn't have had to try so hard. Like I obviously wasn't going to win a prize for like being second worst. So like changing the rules at that point in the tournament felt scummy and disingenuous, and I still am mad about it. I'm still mad about it. That's why I'm telling you this story now, because I am still mad and I will die mad. So yeah, like I've been in positions where we changed the rules at the last minute is sort of the common thread there. So I guess that well, I don't know. Hate last place trophies and rewards. I mean, honestly, as someone who hates being competitive, I think I kind of agree. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been in a position where I've been challenged to really articulate my thoughts and feelings on the idea of like participation trophies. I mean, I was in like a pretty sad sack bowling league for like a long time. It was like pretty casual, but it was still technically part of a league, and so like there were like award banquets. I don't know. I think my mom had to like pay. I don't know how that stuff worked. I think we may have had to pay to participate in. I don't know. But like I remember like getting certain like awards and trophies. I think a lot of them were kind of just for like showing up. Like it wasn't truly a participation thing, but it wasn't like we like won the league. Like I don't really remember like where we placed, but I don't remember us being like especially good or whatever. Um, but like, yeah, I mean that's the closest I've come to being in that situation, and it's not like those. Like I guess the thing I'll say is that like I think the large argument behind the idea of like participation trophies is that like it makes everyone feel included and valuable and like motivates people, but like I didn't really necessarily find that much value in having the trophies because like it didn't feel like I had accomplished anything. So again, I don't really know where we ranked, but like at the same time, like I don't come away from that experience being like, look at all the good I did or whatever. Give everyone something for participating, but don't single out last place for a trophy. I mean, yeah, I mean that's obviously a separate argument, but yeah. Does that happen a lot in other contexts, truly? I mean, I know it does happen, but like other than like stupid Uncle Wigglily's puzzle basement, as it was affectionately known, I don't feel like I've personally encountered a lot of that sort of thing. Primary school used to give first place trophy and rewards to whoever came in last. I mean, was it rewards in the sense that it was like, I feel like I've sometimes heard of like, like the person who needs the most improvement gets like some resource that would help them do that or something like that. That's a little bit more of a gray area. Recognition thing. Even if it were meant to motivate like a single person. Yeah, I mean, like singling out a person. Yeah, like and one thing I think I'm grateful for is the fact that like my graduating class in high school was much too large to properly do superlatives because I feel like I would have got a real nasty one. Like I feel like I would have got one that would have like objectively made my life worse. And I feel like that's like a similar notion of just like singling people out. Yeah, I'm like on some level I'm curious what it would be, but also I just feel very strongly that it would not be flattering. It would be something bad. Did anyone here have like a good superlative? Did you go to like a normal sized high school or like a small high school? My graduating class, like I know we had like dropouts and stuff that like changed the number, but like I think like before you factor that stuff, like our graduating class was something like 920. It's like a fairly big school. Oh, you had 800 plus. I very rarely encounter people with like remotely similar graduating class size. I'm a little surprised by that. Only because like other than the people who went to that school district with me, like I'm not actually sure if I've at least talked to people I know who have been in that situation. Like most have been in like a much smaller graduating class. No school had 200. It's a big thing that 4 students were going to have to repeat or pass once the parents attempted to sue. That feels like that's similarly problematic, right? Like if they don't qualify to get to the next level, like I don't know how the school is liable for that. Like at a certain point, like either like the students weren't trying or they genuinely weren't capable of meeting the standards to graduate to the next level, and in either case the solution is for them to keep working. I don't know, like maybe that sounds a little callous, but like isn't that like kind of the point of the system? Sounds like a huge class. I mean, like in some ways I feel like part of the reason why I've like struggled to be a normal functioning social person is that like it's so easy to get lost and forgotten in a class of that size that like someone who's not naturally outgoing like really struggles to like have a presence and not just be like tormented for being like smart. And I'm not trying to say like I'm smarter than everyone, but like the only thing anyone really knew about me is that I was like doing well in class and they thought I was a nerd, and I am, and like the few interactions I had were mainly people being mean about that kind of thing. And I'll admit like the occasional passing interest from someone who, because I was so socially stupid, I either didn't understand or completely outright didn't notice. That's a shout out to my mom, who thinks that happened a lot more than it did, but I can think of probably at least two legitimate instances of that like in hindsight are annoying, but you know, we don't all have the magical girl transformation time travel suit of old skies. Hey Cyber Justin, I know I'm late, but just pretend I'm not. Thanks for hanging out for this whole stream, Justin. You had a somewhat small graduating batch. Like roughly how much? Like 100, couple hundred? Or were you one of those ones that was like, my graduating class was like 30. We had 2 classrooms. Sometimes I hear that and I'm like, I can't imagine. I went through like 7 classrooms of that size on a daily basis. It's probably top 20 if you had to guess. I was like close to that. My mom maintains that I was higher and insists that she has receipts. But my recollection is that like I think I settled somewhere like a little under 20 because like I didn't do like AP courses because I didn't think they'd be valuable, and I was correct based on the life choices I made. They would not have helped me basically at all and would have made high school harder and more annoying. So I did actually correctly assess that, I believe. 250-ish. I want to say that's like high end of average. I really don't know what the average class, like graduating class size is in America at this point. Happened with you once. You didn't share feelings, with the fact that you were so oblivious haunts you. Yeah, right. Like that's the thing. Like it's like it's not like in my case, like it's really hurtful because like I think if I had been aware of it to reflect on it, like I think at least one of those would have been like a really good thing for me, and I was just heinously stupid, like very, very bad, very bad. Like high on the list of like lifetime mistakes was like not reading that at all, because like I think I ended up hurting her feelings like pretty badly unintentionally because of how oblivious I was, and that feels bad. But yeah, like that kind of thing haunts me for sure. Graduating class was like literal 3 basketball courts of bleachers on 2 levels. God, we had so much gym. Like our school district was so big on like athletics, which I know most are. But like holy crap, like we had huge auditoriums at like every school level for their relative class size. Any other what's troubling you? What's on your mind? Anything? Anything to round out the stream? America seems way more focused on athletics compared to Europe on the whole. I feel like while that seems very general to say, I feel like it's probably largely correct. I mean, certainly like at some level, athleticism is still valued, and not just like within like local to, you know, the individual sports cultures, but you know, just factoring the importance of like football in Europe, like that's so important to everyone that obviously like that level of athleticism is super important. Even when told directly, I was just staring blankly waiting for him to laugh because I was used to kids making mean jokes. That's so like sad but understandable. You were told many times for years. That kind of happened to my ex-girlfriend. Like there was like a guy who did that with her, like up to and including the time that like we were dating when we were in college. And he like constantly just said like point blank that like he had feelings for her, and she like just kept being like, no, it's not a big deal. And it's like, you know, that's weird though, right? Like that's not a bit. Like he's just actually just saying the quiet part loud. He's just like telling you exactly how he feels. Like there's nothing about that that's like just funny or a joke. Like it's not told as a joke. He's just stating it as fact. Like it's, you understand that, right? For you, on your mind is the family and medical issues. I'm sorry that's been going on. I know that like you have some aging members of your family, but I know it's been an especially difficult year for that much. And I'm sorry that that's just been ongoing for months. It seems like, at least. Came home after 2 hours on Saturday. That's rough. It's one person, two more still, two deaths. That's a rough year. I mean, obviously this year has been unkind in many ways, but like, ugh, sorry for you to have to deal with that on top of all of it, all the normal stuff that everyone has to deal with. It says, I don't think we have sports scholarships for universities. That's interesting. I mean, that is a big thing here. I mean, so like, again, it's a very capitalist sort of process. My understanding is that like, a large number of, colleges and universities here in the United States are run for profit. They have like a board of investors or trustees or combination or whatever. And so like they're actually trying to make a profit. It's not about the education as an end goal, which I think is more common in Europe, but I might be wrong about that. But so like as a result, a lot of colleges will offer scholarships to athletes because they think they can make money back, having like a successful like collegiate sports franchise. And there's, depending on the level, there's like some merchandising and people like alumni and stuff buying tickets to go to events and watch the team play and whatever. Spiraling, you're gonna do Disney for the 4th and had the money, had a literal coupon from Disney, but you couldn't because the family needed you. That's really harsh. If it's any consolation, my sister, who as previously mentioned is very big on Disney, that might be one of the most like malign descriptions of a trip to Disney I think I've ever heard from her. She was not loving like the weather or the vibes. Like, it did not seem like the 4th of July was a particularly good time to go to Disney this year. So, like, maybe you dodged a bullet in that regard, and maybe the money would be better spent visiting at a time that isn't as disappointing at the very least. Probably could have met her in person. I'm going to be honest with you, Demolition. If that's part of what you want that trip to be, there will be more opportunities for it to happen. My sister will continue to go to Disney theme parks. I just mean, like, if that's any part of your consideration, like, don't consider that a lost opportunity. Jupiter himself could find that, I promise. Till a few years ago, we had open university, so everyone could get degrees for everything very cheap. My dad got loads of degrees, praising me out of pure boredom. Now they charge a fortune, so I don't get to use them. Yeah, hey, that dovetails nicely with what we were talking about before, is like changing the rules after the fact and closing off opportunities to people who are relying on them, which is, like a thing that happens in 2025 probably more often than it did before because we're so cool and open-minded. And instead of being the cool Star Trek future where like, God, I don't know, like the Black Mirror future, we're basically the Black Mirror future. Like, if you've watched the most recent season, the episode Common People, like that's just a documentary for something that hasn't come out yet, but it's coming and it will be a nightmare. Like that's one of the most like realist looks at the near future of technology. Like, it's horrifying and so genuine, and I really hate how accurate it is. Unless you want to do the Star Wars stuff. I still haven't built a lightsaber. I've been kind of trying to angle to get one of my friends who is like a bigger Star Wars nerd than me to like do it with me, but like they have been reserved and not wanting to do it. And I think they're gradually coming around, but like, I don't know when or if that'll happen. They may stop doing it by the time they make that decision. I know that same friend wanted to do the Galactic Star Cruiser, but obviously no mere mortal could choose to go on that experience. And if you haven't already watched the like 4-hour Jenny Nicholson video about it, that should tell you all you need to know about whether it would have been a good idea to spend that kind of money. Ever hear of the culture? So advanced in terms of culture and tech that they're to Star Trek that Star Trek is to us. I don't think I'm familiar with that. There's kind of a concept like that in the Orville. Oh, by the way, Devil, I don't know how this has never come up. Demolition, have you watched The Orville? It's like Seth MacFarlane's answer to Star Trek. Cause like, it's like very heavily. It's like Next Generation era inspired. It's like that. It strives to be that type of Star Trek and largely succeeds. Like the first few episodes are a little rough because like it's trying to be more comedic and it's trying to figure out exactly what those boundaries are. So like some of the early stuff feels a little bit more like unpolished Family Guy at times, not like constantly throughout, but like it tries some jokes that feel a little more like Family Guy. But like I swear to God that like it finds its footing and it's Star Trek and it's not that. So like I know like a few episodes you'll probably be like but like I swear to you, I don't make recommendations this strongly very often, but like if you like old Star Trek, you should watch The Orville. But there is like a plotline at one point where they like basically they encounter this alien species twice, and there's like some time shenanigans, and like the first time like we're way more advanced than them, and then the second time they are more advanced than us, and it creates a really interesting situation. Nico says, I saw one episode of that because of Haggis. I hate Seth MacFarlane, so it puts me off. That's why I'm very emphatic about this. Like, I know that not all... Like, I generally like Seth MacFarlane. I think I'm, like, maybe a bigger fan of his stuff in general than a lot of people. But, like, The Orville is something different. It is, like, a passion project of his. He is a fan of Star Trek. He wanted to make his own Star Trek, and he did. And it's Star Trek. It's not New Trek. It's not fake Star Wars. It's Star Trek. So, like, yes, I understand that there are times when it's, like, a little Seth MacFarlane-y, and I get that, but, like, I promise you it's Star Trek. Like, if you don't like Star Trek, that's also fine. Like, you may not like it for that reason. But, don't not watch it just because you're like, I don't like Family Guy. Like, don't do that. That's the wrong take. Do you remember what episode this was? It sounds like you were both traumatized by this. Was it like the pilot? Like the very worst episode? Because like don't go by just the pilot. It's the very worst episode. I think that is true. I don't think there's an episode worse than the pilot. And only by nature of the fact that like again, they're still trying to figure it out. But Neko, do you like Star Trek? This is like a more important question. Because if you don't like Star Trek, that's fine. Don't watch it. But if you like Star Trek, like, watch it. That's really all that matters. Pilots are nearly always... Like, there are very few exceptions to that. Exception Vince Gilligan shows. I mean, I think there's more beyond that. I mean, the Futurama pilot is great. I mean, it's a little rough around the edges, but, like, it knew what it was doing from the start. I hate Family Guy, but I thought that not Star Trek was pretty good. See, that's, like, valid. Like, even if maybe you don't love Star Trek, like, you might sort of be able to appreciate it. But I think if you like Star Trek, like, you should give it a real shot. I've not seen Star Trek apart. Well, start there, then. Watch... I don't know. It's tough. Like, I'm not even sure I've seen every episode of the original series, which I should go back and do. I've seen most, at least, I think. But, like... I saw most of it growing up when it was just like randomly in syndication. We didn't have streaming back then. And like I don't think my family like owned a box set of it until like well past the time that I would like casually watch it. But like I don't know. There's things that I think like a modern audience like would struggle with getting into original series, but I also know that like I somehow convinced my ex-girlfriend to like try Star Trek. I think it was like after the J.J. Abrams movie came out, she really liked Spock as a character. So then she went back and watched the original series and like actually like really loved it, like way more than I thought would have been possible, which I thought was funny. Also, I think she got like playful mad at me one time because like I think I tried to show her like Firefly because that was like really big at the time and it like been canceled around that time and it was still in that era when everyone was like, oh, like they should have given us another and like talked about it all the time. I know people still talk about how like it got cut short, but like it was a huge thing that got talked about a lot back then. And she was kind of mad. She was like, how come like you didn't tell me that like it was a good story? I thought it was just like sci-fi. It was like, oh, like honey, like there's so much sci-fi. Like, I know that you don't really come from like a heavy sci-fi background, but there's so much of it, and so much of it is good. Some of it is not good, but like, that's not a valid reason not to watch a thing. Just been taking in all the various rants for things I haven't seen, including but not limited to the end of Old Skies. Yeah, I was trying not to spoil the end of Old Skies because Letters was still active in chat, and I thought maybe she would play this game, but I didn't kind of want to spoil her on it. But it did end. Old Skies did end somewhat abruptly. It says, see, my mom stating,
darn.
Why do you watch those Batman movies? They're all the same. Oh, don't you love that? Don't you love, like, gross reductivism? Firefly is awesome. I'm not trying to say it's not. It was just funny because, like, my recollection, and I may be remembering this wrong at this point, but, like, I think, like, I was watching a lot of it at the time because I was actually, like, writing a paper on it for school because I was, like, super obsessed. And, like, I think I'd just been talking about it a lot, and then, like, I don't know, either I like pushed it on her or she shared enough interest that I was like, okay, like we could try watching it. And then like we watched like one episode and she was like immediately like, this was great. Like I really like this. I'm like, yeah, it's Firefly. Everyone loves Firefly. Like, so here's the thing, Neko. So you remember, I think, were you here last week when we like got halfway through the case with the author? And again, we were joking about all the Hallmark movies being the same. I think being able to distinguish the difference between Hallmark movies is like a litmus test for how good a critic you are. Like, I legitimately strongly believe this. Like, there is no more pure way to understand the craft of writing a movie than to analyze, like, 800 Hallmark Christmas movies. Because, like, it's the sheer fact that they all have to have certain commonalities, or at least are likely to have these commonalities, that you have to be more discerning to tell what makes one different from another, what works and what doesn't. I genuinely, truly, wholeheartedly believe, not just like because I like them, but like I think that is like the most surefire way to like hone your skills, is be like, watch like 5 Christmas movies in a row and tell me which ones were good and why. Okay, so let me summarize, Neko. This one's just for you. At this point, this is spoiler warning. If for some reason you don't want to know what happens at the end of Old Skies, I'm probably gonna immediately wrap the stream up after this. So you leave a Squirtle guess in chat and mute this until I start moving stuffed animals around. The last case is like we were assigned to follow around an author who had disappeared under mysterious circumstances in the 90s. Like some member of his family came out of the woodwork and was like, I just want to know like what happened to him. He vanished mysteriously. Like, what's the deal? So like we were sent to the past to like look into it. And, you know, like the short version is that like we went to the place he was supposed to be and like he super wasn't there. Like not only was he not physically there, but like basically the location wasn't in the state it was supposed to be based on what history said happened the day he disappeared. So then we had to like start looking around, and I apologize, my voice is like a little strained because I'm still kind of recovering. I'm at the real tail end of recovery, but like, you know, I still got a little bit of, I apologize. So so like we investigate like some of the people and places like surrounding the location and the guy, and what we learn is that like there's a dude who's supposed to end up marrying the husband's wife after he vanishes, this guy Adam Cole. And when we start investigating Adam Cole, he has a computer that has like a bunch of information on it that comes from our timeline and involves like knowledge of time travel, like very specifically, not just from the future, but like actual facts about like the organization we work from and how time travel works. And then as we like investigate further, we ultimately like find out that like apparently that dude got killed off and replaced by an imposter in like 1970 something. And so we go and confront the guy and find out that he's actually the guy Duffy, like our coworker who like died in a time travel accident. He actually faked his death so that he could go pretend to be this guy until he vanished mysteriously, and then just live under an assumed name when no one would find him. In the process of discovering this, he manages to find like a sly way to poison us so that we slowly die. And he hopes to use that window of time to like basically vanish, to just escape our watch and get away with everything. So we had to like piece together like a futuristic cure from like modern day materials, and then like take the cure and then go confront him. And then he makes this impassioned speech about how like she should understand better than anyone, like how being a time travel agent sucks, and like you never get to do anything for yourself. You live only for stabilizing time, and like no one should have to live that way. And it's kind of implied that like when he uses this thing to like make it so they're not being overheard, that she like lets him get away, and then she like comes back to the present, and then there's like a really rushed epilogue where she off screen suddenly like goes back to the incident where her love interest like died in a lab explosion, and like rescues her from it, and like says that she was like incapable of finding a way to do it that didn't like cause her like massive smoke inhalation to her death. But we quickly learned that that was like a ruse, and she also just like vanished into the wind, leaving Nazo like the only time travel agent in New York. And now there's like no one to do the time travel, and he has no friends. And I honestly think he's the victim of the story, and it's kind of a bummer. And then the post-credit scene is we see Fia and her love interest sitting on a bench together, and then like a chrono shift happens and neither one of them ever existed. Murdering someone and replacing them as something out of a horror movie. Mm-hmm. Yes, correct. But they justify it by saying that he was abusive and bad. So like, you know, your mileage may vary. Deep Hum says, all things look the same from the outside. People do not really know the difference between things unless you're into wine. Between wines, unless you're into wine. Similarly, nerds get upset when you say Star Wars and Star Trek are the same. I feel like really insecure nerds do that. Like, I feel like that's like a 90s meme. It's like, you know, someone saying that like Spock blew up the Death Star, and there's being like, no, I can't contain my rage. But like, I feel like people do genuinely do that, but I feel like those are people who like have bigger problems. Like, it's not like a categorical thing. I think it's like those people need to chill and be introspective. Fia sees that and in the moment ditches Nazo. I mean, not in the moment. She planned that out. She totally orchestrated that. It wasn't spur of the moment. I mean, it was like impulsive in the sense that like it violates everything she lived for, but like it's very much planned. Other 90s things like Council Wars? What is that? Oh, Console Wars. Console Wars. I think we're like largely past the Console Wars. I think partially because Xbox is not exactly given up, but kind of like folded into, and I think is gradually trying to phase into all their games just being like PC stuff. And like Nintendo has consistently just tried to play their own game rather than like really compete head to head with the other two. So it's kind of like, if you want like a general use console, I feel like these days it's like largely PlayStation. Like there's still Xbox, but like I feel like the prevailing sense is that you're either like a PC gamer and you play on PC. If you're a console gamer, you're likely to have PlayStation, I feel. Or like, you know, if you have interest in Nintendo games, Nintendo's doing its thing. Skies is perhaps the worst universe you could possibly live in. That might be a mild exaggeration, but I think it's got to be in contention, right? Like, it does sound like a true, genuine nightmare. I mean, the only... the hypothetical I've always heard is like, you know, people ask like what fictional universe you want to live in, and it's typically, from my experience, framed in such a way that you have to consider yourself not as like the most remarkable type of person, but like an average person. So like in the Star Wars world, you're not a Jedi, you're not like royalty, you're like a person on some random hunk of rock somewhere. It's like, is that the world you want to live in? I feel like the average person in Old Skies doesn't know the difference between their reality and like the reality experienced by the time travel agents, because like to them, they're not like time locked. So as a result, like if history changes, their history changes, and they only know the current life. So like they don't have to live in the existential dread that like the time agents do. That is a bad life. The only correct answer is Pokemon World. Like honestly, I think objectively, actual Star Trek is the legitimate pinnacle answer, because it's relatively close to a utopia. Like the Pokemon World is great, but like I don't like there's still like a lot of mundane human problems to be solved. You do get to live with Pokemon, that's true and great, but like you still have to kind of deal with like normal human problems and scarcity and stuff. You don't have scarcity in Star Trek unless you end up in the Delta Quadrant, but only for like 2 or 3 seasons, because after that they didn't want to be bothered to write it. And so it's just sort of assumed that they can trade for anything they need or whatever. If you think about it, people's lives change so often that either there's residual like them, or there's residual shouldn't happen. I mean, honestly, like, I just wonder how, like, the archives even work in the Old Skies world, right? Like, how... Oh, we dropped 77 frames. We haven't dropped a lot of frames lately. I'm curious what that was. Oh, you know what? It's probably closing the game. That's probably what it was. Computer really hates that for some reason. The Pokemon world, you get to go adventuring as a 10-year-old and befriend Pokemon. True, but like also there's like actual violent criminals and stuff. Like I don't know. It sounds idyllic, but like also it's kind of problematic. I don't think it's necessarily a bad pick. I don't know that it's like the pick, you know? Pokemon is not the best to live in besides Pikachu. That's a curious line to draw in the sand. I mean, Pikachu's great. That's not what I'm saying. I just mean like I'm not sure I would say that Pikachu is the exception, the singular exception. You live in a world where Pika's a thing without needing the universe. Did anyone else watch the Pokemon Direct this week? I kind of missed a portion of it where Pikachu was DJing, even though my sister tried to give me a shout out. The waiting room was kind of like the exact time frame I was getting ready for work, so I didn't see that part of it. So many screenshots. Well, good. I'm happy. It's good. I don't know. I'm excited for Pokemon ZA. I don't know. I keep hearing people being skeptical, and I think that's fair. I think for my part, it just feels like it's closer to something I want than what Arceus did. Will it be as good at what it's doing as Arceus is? I don't know. People seem very upset about Mega Dragonite. It's not probably the way I would design it to look, but like it doesn't bother me that much. Waiting for Concierge. I appreciated the little sneak peek they gave of the Aardman thing, Sir Farfetch'd or whatever, Sir Farfetch'd and Pichu. Like, yeah, I bet that's gonna be really good. Okay, I think at this point we've needlessly stretched the stream with rants somewhat unintentionally. So, unless there's any further orders of business, it may be time for Squirtle. What am I looking at over there? I think that's a cool spot on top of a pile of stuff in a box that shouldn't probably be visible in an ideal world, but hey. That's how you thought Mega Dragonite would look? I like the wings on the ears, but Dragonite is just the opposite of elegant. It is, and there's some funness to that. There's some question of proportions to me. That's really my only issue, I think. I like the idea that it like merges the like big gap between Dragonair and Dragonite closer to making them seem connected. But like some weird stuff. Squirtle behind the scene. White evolved form of Evian. Oh, you mean the my poo fell over. You mean our snowy Vulpix. Gonna break form and say the crabs. Well, I mean Pikachu's not out, so I don't know that necessarily breaks form. Anyway, while we're gathering some guesses, we historically end the stream with a game of Secret Squirtle. Somewhere in this room, I've hidden some number of Squirtles among my stuffed animals. If you are able to locate a Squirtle in this fashion, it is considered an omen of good luck for you in the coming days. Go for a Pokemon. Oh, I see. Don't like that they shrunk Dragonite's back wings. I don't know how it works if you don't, though. That seems really confusing. Okay, so here we got Jigglypuff guess, Crab guess, Vulpix guess. Okay, let's take a look. I'll start with the crabs. Fun fact. These are both supposed to be Kaylee the Crab. She's like a totally different color, huh? I've really not stopped to pay too much attention to that. Anyway, hi back there. If you did notice, is a friendly little group who is not a Squirtle. Can we? Is that? No, that's a terrible idea. Okay. Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff, I'm afraid, also not concealing a Squirtle this time. He's got my little teddy bear friend from my mini golf adventure over vacation. They're the same crab. They're supposed to be the same crab. They're both literally Kaylee Crab. And it's just supposed to be like Kaylee Crab and then Kaylee Crab dressed as a pirate for Halloween. She's got a Halloween coded tag and everything. And then we had a guess behind our snowy Alolan Vulpix, and it turns out that does, in fact, conceal a Squirtle. Met the other Jigglypuff. That's fair. I should have asked. Our other Jigglypuff has small Squishmallow catch because she's a small Jigglypuff that can only conceal a small thing. Fun fact, small Winnie the Pooh also had a cat because I have like 4 of them. We need a tinier Squirtle. I mean, I have one Squirtle that's even smaller than this one. And it happens to be this one that is behind, as you may have noticed, the latest addition to the room. This is the Alolan Snowy Sandshrew. They recently stocked some new plush friends at the Pokemon Center website. I'm very partial to Sandshrew. I looked at its dimensions, and I kind of thought he might be like exactly the same size as regular Sandshrew I have, and I was really excited about it. He is not. He is a little smaller, and I'm more annoyed about that than I probably should be, but he's still a very good boy. I mean, I'm a stickler for the classic one, but he's very cute, and I felt like I should get him. I like that they because he's snowy and because he's got sort of like a brick motif, they decided to make him into like a little igloo guy when they made the ice version of him. So like I still like him very much. He's very cute. They also had a Drifloon rather, and I really struggled. I wanted to buy both of them, but I feel like I've been spending too much money, and I was like, I don't. Here's one of the things that's tough about being a plush collector and buying, from online vendors like the Pokemon Center, which is like, it's hard to know exactly where they measure plush from because they're not uniform, especially with Pokemon because they're not even like roughly the same body shape. It's like, at least with Squishmallows, you know, they kind of have like a core bean shape or whatever. So you can have some general assumption as to like what size it's going to be relative to like it, you know, it has like a defined height. But when it comes to like Pokemon, it's tough to say. So there's like a the sitting cutie Drifloon I have from like a little while back. I think that one was measured at like 4.5 inches, according to like its profile online. And the one that went on sale was like 5.5 inches. And I'm like, that's like barely different from the sitting cutie, right? Like, without seeing it in person, it's hard to know if that's any good, or even if like they could technically be a dramatically different size. Like if the sitting cutie is measured like, you know, end of balloon dangle to top of head, whereas this one is like the balloon body is 5.5 inches. Like, that would be a huge difference. If that was true, it'd probably be worth getting, I think. But I don't know that. And it's like $20 additional. So like, I don't know. I'm still debating it. This one at least got free shipping on his own, and I don't have that many Sandshrews because they don't make that many Sandshrews, so I just thought I'd get him. Again, I was kind of hoping he would be like a perfect mirror to the other one, and that kind of tipped me over the edge, but he's still very good. I'm not disappointed with him. He's a good guy. They're measured by the body, not the total length with the strings. Like, the sitting cutie for sure isn't. Like, there's no shot that the body on the sitting cutie is that big. Like, I'm pretty sure the sitting cutie definitely includes the feet dangles. I think it's like all the way there. But like, I don't know that for sure. And I for sure don't know the one I don't have, how that was measured. Anyway, thank you for the bits demolition. Thank you. And thanks to everyone for watching. I guess at this moment, my thought is that we'll start playing the new Somnium Files game next Friday. Like, is there a reason I wouldn't do that? Like, I thought we had more of this game, but we clearly don't. So I guess that's the next thing to do. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. I hope to see you again soon. Tomorrow night we'll be back with Blueprints, which, you know, we're slowly and hopefully steadily making some progress through. I have some new goals to try and get through in there. We're kind of weighing our options as to like when maybe we find a stopping point for streaming that so we don't spend the entire rest of the year on it. I don't know. The discussion has only recently started. Yeah, we'll have more of that tomorrow. I think we're going to start Somnium Files next week. Hopefully I see you for either one of those. But until I do, take care of yourselves and remember that you are clawsome.